Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to a long-awaited Salted Slices stream, which is to say I'm playing Monster Hunter again. I know that never happened, so you're probably a little bit shocked and in awe that I would even launch up Monster Hunter. I know. But in the words of Winton Overwatch, greetings! How are we all doing on this fine Tuesday? Dude, we gotta talk about how Overwatch as a game, it might have... Yeah, I think I'd agree with this take. It might have the single most undeserving roster of all time because the characters in Overwatch, not most of the ones released in Overwatch 2, there's a couple exceptions to the rule. Ramattra is one of them. Visually, gameplay-wise, I think that Ramattra should be found dead in the Bronx, but visually, Ramattra's design is fucking awesome. I just think that Overwatch, by and large, has some of the designs that hit out of their weight class the hardest. Because you can't tell me Zenyatta doesn't absolutely smack. Lucio's insane. Winston Overwatch is such a good design. Wrecking Ball is such a silly, goofy, fun idea. Reinhardt is such a great idea to do a Crusader in a team fighting game like that. It's just like, they were consistently hitting bangers out of the park, and yet still they fumbled it. Now, you might notice that I don't really have many of the female characters in like my great design category. They don't give you much to work with. If we're talking about Blizzard female character designs. It's kind of like, what bikini girl do you want? And do you want the blonde one, or do you want the one with dark hair? Do you want Tracer? You know, no offense, when people were saying, oh, Tracer should be added to Super Smash Brothers, let's calm down for a second and look at the character design. That one's nothing special. Brigitte was pretty decent in my opinion. Yeah, she was okay. I like Junker Queen. She was an Overwatch 2 design, but I did like Junker Queen a lot. Zarya was a good design. Zarya was a unique silhouette and a fun design. I didn't mind. Now, it's a little bit of a tired trope, right? Oh, well, how do we make a woman strong? Well, you make her Russian and have her speak with a thick accent. It's not exactly like the most groundbreaking idea, but it was her particle gun with how big that was and how the silhouette would play out with it. I didn't mind Zarya's design. But then all of the women were like just pin-up girls, aside from Brigitte. But that was also because they made her Torbjorn's daughter, and they were like, well, we can't fetishize Torbjorn's daughter. Or like cousin. I don't really remember the lore that much, but hello everybody, how are you doing? I hope you're having a great time. Thank you for coming on in. Let's crack into a cold one before we get to some hunting, shall we? And get this podcast started. Now that's good. That's the sound of my heart failing in my early 30s. One more sugar-free energy drink down the hatch. Dude, I've seen people online who like shotgun Monster Energies. Their kidney stones must be boulders, right? Because your body cannot process that. I don't believe you if you think it can. You haven't put it, you've already put it through too much though, so I don't want to see it go too much. I feel like you're nearing the limit of what a body can take. Better than ever with you and Ratman here. Shit, got me like kicking my feet and whatnot. My favorite app to get scammed on. I still maintain I don't think anybody's ever done like a legit deal unless they were sponsored to do one on Whatnot. Like, it only has negative publicity and yet it still exists, which is crazy. And so if you don't know what Whatnot is, yeah, there it is on what? Yeah, don't worry. Whatnot is the premier app with which people rip open Pokemon card packs, and viewers will pay for you to open one of their card packs and you send them the hits. Do you want to know what happens on that website? I don't know, 95% of the time? Oh, you got a hit? Hey, we're gonna have to cancel your order, unfortunately. We didn't really look at the fine print. We're not able to ship to you. Sorry about that, but don't worry, you get your full refund. And then guess who gets to keep the card? It is a little bit of like an intelligence test, right? Like a self-administered IQ test. if you pay somebody online to open up a pack of cards for you, trusting the goodwill that they will then send you anything expensive from within it, when all you've done is paid under market price for it, you have too much hope in your heart for humanity. And also, I've got a bridge that I'd like to sell you. I'm ready whenever, just let me know. All right, let's see where we're at with our upgrades before we hop in here. Oh, also Sen, Yumi and Joe still have to do title update 2 for Munter Wilds. Get you to fight Lagia Cruz and Seregios. I don't know if you've already fought them. Joe and I have done the base levels. We haven't done the tempered ones. We've been saving tempered. Because I hear the tempered ones for this are really good. Like some of the harder fights. I haven't touched them yet. Okay. Yeah, I mean, so I'm very excited for those. And then also, Monster Hunter Wilds did a good update, which, like, I don't know how it happened either. The arc tempered monsters, starting with Uthduna and then going back and including Raydal, are now going to be permanently available. So they're no longer going to try and FOMO you to have endgame, which is a great idea. I don't know why it wasn't really in from the start. Like, it kind of seems like one of the most insane things to FOMO to me personally, but I guess that's why I'm not a AAA game developer. I was talking... So you know Stop Killing Games, right? I'm sure you know it, if only from Pirate Software, if nothing else. But, dude, there's so many games that I just, like, I miss, man. What's a great example? Two that came to mind, and one of these is gonna sound weird. I miss Genshin Impact and Rumbleverse. And now you're gonna say the obvious, right? You can say the line, Genshin Impact's still out. But, like, I wager, this is my own little thought experiment I've been working on. Imagine there's like a ship, okay? And this ship has rotting wood. We'll call it the ship of Theseus, random example. It has rotting wood. And so what you do for preservation's sake is slowly you replace the rotting parts with new parts so that the display can still exist for this ship. At some point, you have to ask yourself, with every single part of it replaced, is this the same ship? And as a thought experiment, it's easy to go one way or the other and just defend that position. Having played as much Genshin Impact as I have, I can thoroughly say to you, it is not the same ship. Because they kept just going, ooh, add this, patch up this area, remove this part of the map, but add this part of the map instead, which will work as the replacement for it. It's not the same ship. I can tell it doesn't feel right anymore. It feels too empty for me. I can tell that, like, everything, and that's why I was thinking about Stop Killing Games, because I'm wondering how it would affect something like Genshin, right? Where the devs very purposefully remove zones that will no longer exist, that have, like, for example, the easiest one is the Golden Apple Archipelago. If you played during the summer events, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It was like a tropical beach island place, right? It's no longer in the game in any way, shape, or form. And the only way you, as a new player, could even see anything on the game of the Golden Apple Archipelago, which did have, in theory, lore importance, but obviously they're kind of scaling back its lore importance because it's not in the game. But the only way you'll be able to see it is videos preserving it, which I think is insane for a game that's still currently out and getting updates. Also, Genshin being 100 gigs is absolutely heinous work by Hoyo. I mean, I get it, though. The map is kind of fucking, like, giant. It is enormous. Is it... Like, can you feel the love tonight, first of all? The Lion King fan's gonna love that one. But can you tell that as each zone progresses, they put less and less care into making a fully realized zone? 100%. 100% you can. I just didn't install it because I don't have space. So So what they've been doing recently, and this is, you can say that like I'm being biased for a bygone era because I used to love Genshin and now it's like I look at it and all I can feel is an empty hole in my heart from what I once loved. But what they started doing is they started making zones more annoying to travel around. And you might say, well, what's the upside to that? I'm happy you asked. All of the new characters have better mobility. Not necessarily better damage, but their mobility is better. Now, why would you do this as a company? Well, because of one reason and one reason alone. People already had their strongest characters. People were happy with what they had built. But being happy in a gacha game isn't good for profits. But the meta slaves already had exactly what they wanted. So now you got yourself an issue if you're the developer. We've already made too many good characters for meta reasons, and unless we completely power creep the game in an obvious way, people aren't going to summon or pay as much. So what do? Well, how about you release a new character who rides on a motorcycle and make giant open fields that people don't want to run through? Well, you want to know what people would do then? They would summon for the character who rides a motorcycle. And then all of a sudden you found a way to make the players go, well, I kind of want to buy this to just make the game feel better to play. And then bada bing, bada boom, all of a sudden, it doesn't matter how good a character is, it matters how mobile they are. Which is distinctly different from what you've marketed before. And now, you've got a whole nother market that you're looking at, which is all the casuals who say, oh, I only play the game for exploration. Well, guess what? All the exploration Andes now need something that goes, oh, you're gonna be over there driving your Toyota Corolla? That's nice. I'm over here in the Lamborghini, buddy. And they go, wait, the Lamborghini's going so much faster than my Toyota Corolla. I want to upgrade. And don't worry, they can for the low price of their paycheck. Last I tried was Nahida's place. Nahida was a well-written character. I liked her. I thought she was an interesting Archon, but I kind of felt like they were playing the classics. Or she was the start of them really playing the classics of Archon hated by people, Archon actually misunderstood and shouldn't be hated by people, Archon tricked by somebody else. You go deal with the somebody else. After dealing with the somebody else, people like Archon again. And like they do different versions of it. There's also the two versions of an Archon that started with Raiden Shogun and continued on. What is good, Royal Ludra? Good morning, Vietnam. All right, let's get on out of there. But like they started it with Raiden Shogun, where she had two different versions, her puppet form and herself in the plane of Euthymia or whatever. And then there was Greater Lord Rukkhadevata versus Nahida, who we currently had Lesser Lord Kusanali. Now, what happens with the two of them? Well, you'll come to find out only if you download and play Hit Game Genshin Impact, available now for for Steam, Epic Games, PlayStation, Xbox. They said Nintendo Switch when the game launched. We're still waiting on that Switch port. It's coming though. It's coming. Hey, just hold your breath for a little bit longer. It's almost there. They did announce the Switch port all the way back in 2020, and I'm sure it's nearly done. You just give them 5 to 10 more minutes, and they'll go insane with it. I like the story. I do too. Genshin won't blow up any Switch it gets installed on. Yeah, I think it'd be fine on the Switch too. But like, to think it would run on the Switch 1 is a different level of heinous work. Like, I had no clue what Hoyo was thinking. I think they just wanted it on Switch because everybody was calling it a Breath of the Wild ripoff. So they really wanted to like try and capitalize on, well, if people think this is like Breath of the Wild, we should release it on the system with Breath of the Wild so that the Breath of the Wild fans play it. Now, I do think that was one of the most insane comparisons that the game got. Like, there's a lot to hate Genshin for. And I would say 95, well, I mean, 100% of it valid, right? You can hate a game for any reason, such as it looked at me wrong. I mean, hey, you don't have to like every game, right? But it's ripping off Tears of the Kingdom one. Sorry, Breath of the Wild has always been insane to me because, bro, Breath of the Wild didn't make open world games. They didn't make open world like that. What are we talking about? What are you, like, you're insane. I love Breath of the Wild. I love it so much. I love it so much more than Tears of the Kingdom, that's for sure. But I'm not gonna go over here and say, actually. You see how they have chests in an open world environment? That was one of the things people said, which I felt like I was losing my mind. People were like, look, they have chests inside ruins. You can tell they were inspired by Breath of the Wild. I don't think so, man. The game had been in development from before Breath of the Wild release, not before Breath of the Wild was in development. That'd be an insane claim to make, and also I have no clue whether or not that is true, because Nintendo doesn't really, like, go public with a lot of their information. That's for the shareholders to find out, and us to get our Nintendo Switch 2s bricked because we shared a game with our neighbor. Deserved. Nintendo needed that money. Won't someone please think of Miyamoto? He's starving because you shared Donkey Kong Bonanza with your neighbor. Somebody fucking call him, man. He's crying. This is what you've done. Oh yeah, that was the other reason. Yeah, the gliders. I remember that. People were like, look, you get on wings in Genshin, just like you have a glider in Breath of the Wild. They really couldn't come up with anything unique. And then I was like, what about the elemental system that like causes elemental reactions to boost your damage? That seemed kind of unique. And people were like, that's just a little detail. I'm like, it's the backbone of the entirety of combat, man. Also, I would not say, and maybe I'm alone in this, Tears of the Kingdom is not a combat-focused game. I would say Genshin is. Tears of the Kingdom or Breath of the Wild, neither are combat-focused. They are like exploration and creativity-focused. You can't be creative to save your life in Genshin aside from like creatively coming up with mental gymnastics to goon for your favorite character. That's the only kind of creativity that was going on there. And the 4 character switching. Yeah, well, just like, you know, in Breath of the Wild, you have Link, you have Femboy Link, you have Link in a parka. I can switch to all of these on command by opening up the pause menu. You gotta understand those are, and there's also Zelda somewhere in there. I don't know where, but like, you know, it's her legend, so. She's gotta be showing up at some point. So, like, okay, and not to take away from women. Is it called The Legend of Zelda? Is it her legend? Because, like, it might be my misunderstanding. Her ass gets captured. Her legend is sitting still and waiting. That's not much, it's just not much of a legend, I think. I mean, I don't know. You know, like, power to her, obviously, the Triforce of Wisdom is a very huge burden to carry. I'm not trying to say, like, she doesn't deserve the Triforce of Wisdom. She's clearly very smart because she knows exactly how to get picked up by Ganondorf every single time. So, that's pretty sick. That's why in this household, we fuck with Tetra from, Wind Waker. I'm sorry. Tetra is 20 times the woman Zelda will be. I'm sorry. I like, you know, I liked her in Twilight Princess a lot. I did like Zelda in Twilight Princess a lot. Did I care for her much in Skyward Sword? Well, I didn't care for many characters in Skyward Sword, so I don't think it's fair to take the Skyward Sword comparison. It's a wild way to start a thought. I'm trying to like get good at my hooks, you know what I mean? Because most people start their video essays and or sentences to engage people with something like, gaming is defined by Merriam-Webster as the action of doing a task for the fun of, or possible success. I don't actually know how they would define it, but like you started with something like that, right? Disgusting. We don't need that. We need inflammatory statements to start things out. Ew? Which one's ew? The way that video essays start with Merriam-Webster defines? Because if you don't like that one, boy, my high school essays, you're not going to be a huge fan of them. I was unironically starting it that way. I thought me pushing up my glasses, adjusting my bow tie after starting my essay with Merriam-Webster defines. I know the teacher's gonna give me an easy A for this one. Does anybody sound more learned than me? They call this one the Scholar's Mate, opening with Merriam-Webster's defines. What up, Brad, dude? What's good? What's good? Not much. I'm just chill. I've been putting in some overtime at work, which has been, it's been kind of killing the productivity on the channel. For high school, sure, that makes sense, but damn, when a grown adult tries to use that for a video essay, I cringe. I choose to believe that it's like ChatGPT is poisoned by all the high school essays it has to read. So when the lazy video essay creator says, generate me a script, it just gives them the Merriam-Webster defines by default. Like, it's baked into ChatGPT's code. It just thinks that's how people start conversations now. You'll be like, ChatGPT, I need help real quick. What's the weather gonna be like today? And they go, Merriam-Webster's defines weather as. And that's why the golden age of video essays are behind us. We might as well just pack it up. All right, they're done. AI has completely cooked that market. Especially because, okay, so I'm not a masochist as far as I know. I haven't experimented enough, I guess. But I kind of hate that ChatGPT wants to be your friend. Because, like, I'll use ChatGPT as my PHP compiler. Just because when I get stuck looking at PHP, I need something that can just tell me, no, dumbass, you didn't close this call correctly, or this variable's definition isn't being used right on this line. So I like to throw my code in there and be like, can you debug this and tell me what's going wrong with it, right? When it hits me with like a, you're doing great, might I suggest, no, tell me I did something wrong. I know I did something wrong. The website's showing critical error, okay? I don't have to do this whole song and dance where it's like, wow, you're doing really good. I'm not, the My Hero fandom's dead. I don't need this like fake niceness to try and make me feel good, okay? Just tell me, dumbass, you forgot a semicolon here. I don't need AI to be my friend. It feels like the high school cop trying to get on my good side, you know? Just let me make my mistakes and tell me where I made my mistake. Don't be like, you know, you can always tell me. You can tell me anything. I'm your little buddy. Okay, in the car, just on the piss me off and I need to rant. Hold on. Hold on, I'll read that in a second. I'm currently riding like crazy. Oh my god, and we've exposed his vulva. That's mine, buddy. Oh, that's a delectable little treat for me. All right, hit him with one of these into this. Royal Ludros on your side, but don't worry about that. Get one of those first. God, look how disgusting he is. Sorry, the beauty of nature. You can just tell him to act this way and it will. That feels like I'm too controlling. Because he's been so nice to me, now I have to think of him somewhat as human. I told him to speak like a drug dealer and he did. All right, that's kind of sick, actually. I don't know precisely how a drug dealer speaks, which I hope means he just went into like a Breaking Bad Jesse voice. We're gonna decompile your code, yo. All right, so what you're gonna wanna look at is on line 13, yo. Hey, yo, user, I don't think that you checked this correct. You get like his normal icon, but he's just wearing a beanie now. To be honest, I really didn't think his legs would hit me there. Well, that's on me. I deserve that. I deserve to get laid out like that. Ran a thesis on it that's the same amount of effort as the last minute paper written on 2 hours of sleep. Dude, I feel like I did my best work when I was under pressure though. Like, luckily my writing essays days are behind me. I mean, dear Lord, could you imagine if I had to write essays all the time? God, that'd be horrible. I'm thinking of putting together a video essay on my thoughts on Monster Hunter Generations. Anybody? No, but like, my essay writing days are mostly behind me. Sorry. Complete non sequitur to myself real quick. Can we start saying sexual assault instead of essay? Because you can understand how the two get confusing, right? Oh, I'm gonna get censored by the algorithm. Okay, it's a serious topic. Treat it with a minute of respect, my man. I'm over here talking about video essays and people are gonna be like, oh my God, they did that on video? No, man. I'm talking about some guy who's like, Dragon Ball was made by Akira Toriyama. With a large debut for its audience. Let's treat things with a little bit of respect if they're serious, Just my insane idea on it. Anyways, I'm so happy my days of writing essays are behind me, because writing an essay about something you're not passionate about might be one of the most torturous experiences of all time. It's so easy to write about something you care about, right? Like, it's so insanely easy to just gush about something you care about. The shit they have me writing in high school, they're like, what do you think Holden Caulfield meant by this? And like, my unironic answer is, I do not care what Holden Caulfield meant by this. It probably meant he was catching rye or something, if the title's to be believed. I'm not 100% sure on that. Didn't read it. I only spark notes it, but like, I'm pretty sure it means he's catching ryes right now. And honestly, good on him. Yeah, English class essays where it was not like, when they give you a topic to write about, that pissed me off. Because it's literary analysis. Let me analyze something of my choice. If even just like the state of the world at that moment that led to some of the decisions that it did, kind of like We Didn't Start the Fire, doesn't really hit right if you didn't live through a lot of the events. So like for me, I don't dislike the song or anything, but I just don't feel like it's kind of like watching Forrest Gump right now. And like, Forrest Gump's a great movie and all, right? But a lot of the events you're supposed to be able to relate to just kind of fall flat for me, because I didn't fight in Vietnam. I hate to pull back the veil like this. It's true. I was not deployed in Vietnam, which is like a huge part of why it was so like, oh, this connects with me. Is a lot of people watching the film and going, wow, I lived through exactly this event. But I'm watching it now and it's almost like there's just not much that can speak to me in the same way. Because it's not about my life experiences when it's a movie that's kind of satirizing a lot of the life experiences a bunch of people of that time went through. Which, again, I'm not saying there's no merits to watching it now. I just think that when you hear how much people love Forrest Gump, if you didn't live through a lot of the events within the movie, I think it starts to fall a little bit flat. Not in... I mean, it's still better than a lot of the movies you could watch, for sure. But that is more my scathing critique of the... Oats, hit the fucking monster, not me, yeah? Thoughts on that, man? You enjoyed doing that one, huh? I mean, he doesn't jump that far. He doesn't have those kind of hops. You didn't? I know. I know you would have felt relieved at Vietnam, looking over to your side, being like, who's the tunnel rat today? And then surprised, imagine your shock when you look over. But yeah, I mean, like, again, I'm not trying to say that it's like it's a bad movie. Nobody should ever watch Forrest Gump. But I don't know, if you're outside of the target demographic, I don't think any movie hits as hard as it should, right? Like half of the white guys that saw Sinners being like, no, I don't really get it. Why is this movie getting so praised? Well, maybe it's speaking to an experience that's slightly different from yours. Might be an idea. Or watching, you know, Get Out, thinking to themselves, why'd they have to make the white people evil? I don't get it. All right, crab 1 down, about 15 more of those, and we're looking at full G rank armor eventually. Good thing I didn't bring any kind of pickaxe with me. I would hate to have ore. That could really ruin my day. You guys see the, I mean, Marvel Rivals would just never beat the Gooner allegations, right? Like, they're embracing them at this point. And you could say they've been embracing them from the start. Look, I would count it as allegations when Malice released. And then I would call it confirmation when Emma Frost released with X-Revolutionary skin. But then they did the Wolverine skin and they toned it back a bit because they gave him shorts when normally he's butt-ass naked. So I was like, okay, maybe they're reeling it back in. And then we saw these summer skins that they're releasing. I mean, they've just decided, you know what? The people are gonna know, they're gonna call us it anyways. I might as well embrace the role. We're all given a part to play in this world, and by God, are they gonna play theirs. The Luna Snow skin is just absolute, that's heinous, man. That's absolutely, that one was, I actually couldn't believe that wasn't a modded skin. The highlight intro starts with a close-up of her grippers after giving you an ass shot, and then right afterwards it ends on an ass shot. That's crazy, man. That's actually such an insane true combo. I had to like sit there for a second like, what did I just see, man? It was just one after the other. I feel like I like chain crit more. Does that make me a bad person or a good one? Now we will need Centaur Carapace. That's fine. That's fine. We'll get that eventually. I'll get there someday. Little, what was that? Total Drama Island, I think? Chain crit and handicraft compared to expert and sharpness. So if we look at it, this has 0 slots, whereas this has 2 slots, right? So we've got to kind of think in terms of opportunity cost here. This one, we would have more sharpness, but we'd have less handicraft. Now, handicraft is one that I probably want to slot in to give myself a little bit more sharpness, rather than just decrease the sharpness lost with sharpness. So I feel as if, this is my I feel statement, therapist's gonna love this one. I feel as if I go for this one instead, because the handicraft and chain crit getting +2 each is better than a potential +1 on each of them. Or, well, but if you think of it from another way, I could have +2 on this one, and then it would be sharpness, which is evening out. But then, again, I think it comes back to a question of sharpness versus handicraft, and I think I'm just more of a handicraft kind of guy. Because I'd rather just increase. So we're going to need Plesios shards. You know what? Maybe, honestly, upon considering. Handicraft and chain crit. Now, it does lose its 1 in expert. But it gives a lot for these ones. It's also very replaceable, then. If we wanted to look at other stuff we could slot in. This is not... I'm not looking for G-Knight Gloves X. That sounds like some shit Elon would come out with, man. What you're not gonna do? Do you see what Twitter added? They got the G-Knight Gloves X. Right after you talk to the AI anime girl that Grok has, you can set up the G-Knight ones. Is that a male who plays a male character in Monster Hunter? Those are rare. You gotta understand it from my point of view. Why would I not want to be Guts from Berserk? I'm literally Guts. You gotta understand it like that. Expert and sharpness, expert handicraft and chain. Yeah, I think it's still, I mean, but like the expert is drastically down on this one. Which does, I mean, that it's raising a pretty good counterpoint, right? It's a decent counter offer at the very minimum. Well, in that case, can I rearrange you? What did I say that prompted that? I'm not doubting that I said something that prompted it, by the way. I'm Guts? Oh, I understand. Okay, I thought I said, like, I'm a 4-piece futon and chair combo, and you were like, oh, fuck yeah, feng shui time. Oh, this is what I've been waiting for. I know exactly how to bring out the look in this room. Oh, man, I'm gonna dig. Oh, I'm gonna make some carpet that really matches your eyes and makes them pop, baby. I think that's how Sims players flirt with each other. I'm not 100% sure, but it does sound pretty right. Oh, I'll make sure that carpet matches your drapes. And no, I'm not speaking in innuendo. I mean it exactly as literally as I'm saying it, thank you. Dude, isn't it insane how there are some gamers out there Like, these kind of gamers, they're a walking contradiction, and it surprises me that they exist. Who go, how come women only play games like The Sims all day? Like, don't they get bored? Hey, dude, hop on. We're about to do a Civilization run. Come on, man. It's time for Civilization 6. I'm not saying Civ's a bad game. I'm saying when your house is made of that thin of glass, don't cast a stone. Oh, come on, man. We're gonna go play the new RimWorld DLC. Can you believe women play The Sims all day? Look. Nothing wrong with either of those games. I'm just saying, you gotta not throw a stone. And RimWorld, they're all the same genre of game, okay? I think RimWorld has a great opportunity to release a health and home update that focuses more on furniture and having your base look nicer, and all of a sudden, the player base will skyrocket. Because it's so close to hitting what the Sims players want, which is spreadsheet gameplay. Oh, there are mods for that? Oh, it's over. Is there any mod that adds a purple heart into RimWorld? You know what I'm saying. You understand precisely what I mean by this. I will not debase myself by explaining any further. Of course. Good. As it should be. Well, maybe I've been missing out on this one. Can you believe women play Heyday all day? And then they literally play Civilizations. Can you believe that women are on here playing Farmville all day? All right, buddy. Go back to grinding the new Fortnite season by looking for a map that makes it so you don't have to play the new Fortnite season. That's how I know Fortnite's just like a completely cooked beyond belief game at this point. I don't have anything expressly against it, right? Because I think it's like really hard to hate anything Fortnite does at this point because it feels like beating up on an old man who's past his prime. Ooh, we should get Jake Paul on this. Wait, he'd go crazy. So, I don't even know what the player count is for Fortnite. Maybe it's still going up. I just wouldn't know because nobody talks about it anymore. Every time a new Fortnite season drops, there are people looking for maps in the custom map editor that allow you to skip playing all of the new Fortnite season. And like, that's what lets me know with 100% certainty your game is done, man. Because people are looking for ways to avoid playing your game. That's not positive. If the most popular release or popular search when you release a new season is, damn, how do I avoid playing this fucking dumbass season? That's not good. I mean, it'll never die. Oh, I mean, I think the people who look that up are the kinds of people who will never quit. That guy Darth Vader was actually pretty good. That was hilarious, and that's like an completely acceptable use of AI, in my opinion. In fact, I think, dare I say, that's the direction that game developers should be taking AI in more often instead of trying to replace writing code or art with it, is using it, guiding, obviously, set principles around what said character can and cannot say. But allowing AI to be characters that people interface with is a really fun idea. Is it going to be like novelty 95%? Yes. But it's a pretty fun novelty, so I'll let it slide. It's like a cool theme park, okay? Therefore, it gets a little bit of a pass from me. We're hoping to see a little, ooh, feline feet. Well, see the new skin for Luna Snow? I mean, we'll go for Defender High, why not? But yeah, no, I think the people who are looking up how to skip playing the game are in the most deep on Fortnite and would never leave it, which is the most insane part to me, because they would complete the battle pass anyways. Almost without fail, the people who look it up are about to play 200 hours of that season and complete the battle pass with room to spare. But there's just something in human nature, man. It was the issue with Lies of P adding that easy difficulty, right? I personally have no issue with it. Because if I play Lies of P, I simply will not turn on the easy difficulty. And you'll say it can't be that easy. Oh, it can. All you have to do is actually just like not turn it on, and it doesn't affect your game at all. But that's the issue for a lot of people, is when the option is there, they're gonna take it. I don't know if it's a lack of self-control or what, but the only reason there was even any remote controversy around Lies of P having an easy mode is because people who are bad at the game and get frustrated go down to easy mode after they lose and then beat the boss and then blame the game for not giving them a rewarding victory because they played on easy mode, which is, I mean, it's just like it's a mindset that I can't possibly fathom my mind around, right? But that's the issue that Fortnite has, is people will go, I gotta skip all of the content right now because it's out right now. And then they go, this game has no content, what am I supposed to do? After blitzing through to make sure they had nothing to do. But yeah, I think unironically, if you thought that an easy mode in a game like Lies of P ruined the experience for you, you need to stay away from heroin. Way more than the average person. Because your personality will not let you ever quit it. Don't smoke, don't touch a vape. If the geek bar is in your hand, your life is over, okay? You won't be able to stop. And I can say this on good authority, because for something as meaningless as a video game, you chose that you had to play it on an easier difficulty rather than overcome any adversity in your life. But then blame the game for it. If you chose to play on an easier difficulty and then went, wow, that was really fun and I enjoyed it, this game's great, congratulations, you were the target demographic for the easy mode. Because you just had a great time playing a game. If you are somebody who goes, it should be harder, but also I need to play on easy mode, you have an addictive personality and need help. Your dopamine receptors are fried beyond all belief and could not possibly connect to try and make you feel genuine joy ever again. That's my analysis of you as somebody who plays Monster Hunter on the internet. AKA legally binding, all right? Guys, I don't think I'm ever gonna find Plesiot, by the way. The easy difficulty they added isn't even easy. You still don't have poise and can get comboed. Yes, but it's easier, and that's their issue, right? They can't believe somebody would make the game. It's also kind of like boomer fallacy. What the fuck does it matter to you as a single player gamer that somebody else played the game easier than you did? I see it all the time in Souls-likes especially. The community comes up with 37 asinine rules that you have to follow, otherwise it's not a real playthrough. And if you dare break them, your win was not only worth nothing, but you are a lesser person than somebody else who managed to get that win in what the community considers to be the genuine way. And you might say, well, how do you determine if it's a genuine way or not? That's the fun part. I don't know. Neither do they. It's so aggravating because, like, Elden Ring. Oh, you use magic to beat Melania? Let me know when you really beat her. Well, I'm pretty sure she's still dead. And you're probably saying this as, sounds like someone had to use magic to beat Melania. Just so we're on, like, an understandable, fair ground with each other here. The way that I beat Melania, I punched her to death with the iron balls. That's all I did. I didn't summon anything. I punched her to death with iron balls and did not use a weapon art. So, like, I know what I'm talking about. I had to learn the pattern, okay? I can dodge waterfowl dance in my sleep. My eyes are closed and I still see the pattern for waterfowl dance, okay? I know how to dodge it. But also, if you decided to shoot a moon at her and kill her, guess what? It doesn't make your win any less than mine because both of us had the same victory screen. So it doesn't matter how you made it there. It matters that you made it there. Take that as life advice also. Why? Because it sounds a little bit profound. So I'm taking it because that sounds good for me. Hashtag inspirational. Yeah, get your money up, not your funny up, kings. Sorry. Sorry, I'm back on my grind set. What can I say? I just can't help myself from being a grind set individual. Dude, speaking of... Oh, this is gonna be a controversial take. A lot of people like him. Well, okay. If you're a fan of a certain podcaster who only ever talks about money and financial related things, close your ears. Why is Caleb Hammer so popular? Every single time I see him, he's being the most disrespectful person about somebody else's finances. And then he'll be like, you're spending too much on DoorDash. I'm sure that they know they are. That's why they're here for help, because they don't understand what they can actually put in place to stop that. And his solution is always, you're making $2,000 a month and you're spending $1,600 on DoorDash. You're spending way too much. And then he takes off his glasses and puts his hands in his head. And I'm like, obviously they're spending too much. Aren't you here to like help people? I'm sure they know they're spending too much. I think they're here as like a, how do I stop spending so much? Help, help. This is a lifestyle that I've grown addicted to and I can no longer stop it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't understand. It's always rubbed me the wrong way. And people are like, well, he's just trying to help them. And I'm like, that's so, no offense, you're being insanely disingenuous, because I don't think the vast majority of people, and maybe it's just the clips he posts, right? Maybe on his podcast, he does actually help people. But everything I've seen on him, it is not helpful at all. It's just like, you're a dumbass who's spending money and you gotta stop doing that. Which, in fairness to him, they are a dumbass spending money, sure. But I think they're on your financial advice show to attempt to maybe get like financial advice. Granted, I haven't seen him in ages, so maybe he kind of fell off because people were like, how come he never helps people? It'd be like if Gordon Ramsay on Kitchen Nightmares walked into your shop, said your food was atrocious, and then just fucking walked out. It's not really good to me. Now, if somebody's not receptive to change, and that's like a lot of what it is he picks people who aren't receptive to change, and it's probably by design that way. Either that or they're just like paid actors that act as though they're, which I doubt, because there are a lot of people who are actually in financial trouble. To the point where it would not be hard to find people that need help. I mean, especially with how expensive everything is in the US. But either way, it's just like, it's halfway there. And I know you can't help somebody who doesn't want to help themselves. I'm not trying to say like he should be getting on his hands and knees and doing everything to save them. No, obviously a lot of it does come to personal accountability of, can you take responsibility for the changes that you would like to see within yourself? Because at the end of the day, the only person who can look in the mirror and say, I need to change is yourself. No one else can force that upon you. I get it. But if you also understand that, what's the point of your show? It seems to me like it would be to try and maybe change that kind of behavior. Again, I'm not the one running it's a very successful podcast, so like, you know, credit power to him. You could call it exploitative. Would I? No, but I'm saying you could. And ultimately, I'm sure the people who go on there like sign releases and forms and say, I want to be made fun of. And they come on with the don't bully me, I'll come shirt. They gotta censor that in post. But that episode would go triple platinum. That one would be an all-timer for sure. People would be talking about the Caleb Hammer, don't bully me, I'll come episode for ages. Definitely added to the lexicon of the podcast history. Granted, I also just kind of feel that way with a lot of podcasts, right? Like, I don't know who's watching most of them. Especially political podcasts, especially. Because I don't believe that you think you're about to get anything of value from this. I think, sadly, the ones that I do understand the most are like economic ones, because the kind of person who really enjoys listening to podcasts to me is like the Venn diagram of people who enjoy podcasts and finance-based tech bros is like almost a circle. I'm not saying there's no outliers. There are just like normal people who enjoy podcasts, but I think disproportionately finance-pilled tech bros love podcasts. And then I think the other Like that, to me, accounts 90% of podcasts that I would imagine people view. What else do I imagine people view? The other one that I'm willing to give credit to that I think a lot of people probably mess with is like cryptid ones, like mystery, true crime, or like Mothman and all that kind of stuff. You know, I could see those getting a lot of views. Those are, to me, the which way Western man, finance talk, or cryptids. The other, now that's not the podcast that exists. I'm saying those are, in my eyes, the successful ones, right? In terms of what exists, I would say about an overwhelming majority of podcasts that you will not be seeing because they are not successful in any way, shape, or form. Like they're completely a money loss from start to finish. It's gotta be the like, we're just three dudes podcasts. Where it's a group of friends saying, dude, conversations we have when we're gaming are so funny. We have to start a podcast. And it lasts all of 2 episodes with each and every one of them on their $20 mic they got at Walmart about 8 years ago. I think that probably accounts for a lot of podcast percentages. And I think it's because you see some of the big ones. They're not a high percentage, but there are a lot of big podcasts that are personality driven rather than statistical or anything like that. So they think I've got the personality for that. And like, maybe they would if people were watching. I'm not even saying that those are bad. I'm just saying I think that's the overwhelming majority of created podcasts is just 3 dudes being like, we've got this. There's no way your mouth isn't dead dry right now. Yeah, what do you think chat's here for? Someone's got to re-moisturize me. It's that one Doctor Who, The Last Human Alive. I scream, moisturize me, and then somebody in chat lifts my water bottle to my mouth, and I drink. A good little dog like me only gets to drink when somebody allows it. I honestly, I'm gonna take back the formatting I used. Dude, honestly, puppy people existing has really fucked with my life. Cause like, those terms used to be funny, but now it's too fetishized. I can't say something like that without people being like, damn, I bet he would love to be collared. I wouldn't, actually. What I'd like is to be held and told I'm enough. That's the difference between you and me, buddy. You're like, God, I hope she pushes me on the ground and calls me mean names. I'm like, please, please, just let her tell me I'm enough. You are enough? Stop, I'll come. All right. Speaking of mouth being bone dry, time to take a little break from the fight. While Plesiot just kind of chills. No, read that again. Oh, you are Kenuff. Honestly, I thought you just typoed, so I wasn't going to call it out. But then when I read it again, you're right. Fun fact, I've only seen one half of the Barbenheimer trilogy, the duality. And it is not the Barbie half of it. Not for lack of interest, just mainly like lack of me watching media, I think. I just haven't been very media literate the past 24 years of my life. Now, ask me about a niche, like Five Nights at Freddy's puppet show that somebody put on using their plushies, and I'll be like, well, you gotta understand. What you have to understand about them is like this version of Chica is very different from in-game canon Chica, because this is actually their plush cinematic universe version of Chica. So like, don't compare them to the one who died in the incident with Purple Guy back at the first pizzeria, because then you're gonna get very confused when we get to the later parts of the FNAF lore. Barbenheimer is fun if you went with a group. Just don't think that I've got that level of stamina in me, man. Like, I last 30 seconds and call that good enough. Barbenheimer is insane. I mean, Oppie alone is not a short movie. I don't know how long the Barbie movie was, so maybe that's where it's like not as bad. But I could not imagine watching all of Oppenheimer and then going, I have to go watch another movie after this. I'm just not built for that, regrettably. I wish that I was, because it seemed like people enjoyed it. Yeah, we did Oppie, then went to eat, then went to Barb. Okay, I could do that. If there was like an in-between, I could watch 2 movies in one day. I just couldn't watch them back to back, nothing with there, you know? Like, I need a chaser of some kind. Barbenheimer with a Shake Shack chaser. Holy. Dude, I haven't been to a Shake Shack in ages. It's kind of a low-tier fast food place, in my mind. I did see they were running an ad, though, which it did almost pull me in. And it's not even for any of their food. They just advertise that they're going to do $1 any size drinks, which used to be my favorite part of McDonald's until fucking corporations took that away from me, because God forbid I'm happy in this hellscape we call life. All right. Me getting the most philosophical I've ever been, and that's when they took away the Coke Zero. And at that point, what the fuck was the point of going on? But honestly, I miss it so much from McDonald's. So like when Shake Shack was advertising that, I felt like it was an ad. Like the targeted advertising does work, clearly. Because Shake Shack almost got me to go, maybe I should show up. And now I know if I'm ever out walking, because the shopping center near me has a Shake Shack that I never go into, right? In fact, I've never really seen like anybody in it. It might be a front for an illegal casino of sorts, but because it has been in business 20 years, which doesn't make much sense when you consider 0 people are in it, but whatever. Now I know when I'm out walking, I'll be like, damn, if I want a drink, let me just go here, because the vending machines in front of it are $1.25 for a bottle of Dasani water, which is insane to me, because I don't think you could pay the average person to want to drink Dasani. But that's just not right. Dasani only hits under one situation, and that one situation is you've been walking around the theme park all day and forgot to pack your own water bottle. Just a normal shopping center, no shot. Wow. Be honest, once I rolled in underneath him, I thought I was safe. Turns out that shit curves. I should have known. Plus, he has the man of many tricks. And me, I am but the fool. All right. Yo, G-Rank isn't a joke. They kind of hit you twice and you're dead, huh? I don't mind it, though. I kind of like the difficulty. Why am I eating a second well-done steak? You wouldn't get it. God forbid a fella gets hungry. No, let's crucify me for getting hungry. Okay, guys. Rio mature, so much for the tolerance left. Drink it up. We found Plesioth again. He will hit me here. Okay, we're good. He's got that shooter on him. You can tell he's a bowgun player. Dude, I'm not really looking forward to the fact that I'm gonna have to farm this fish 40 times. Deadliest Catch members. No, wait, what's the one I'm thinking of? Wicked Tuna members going back out into the ocean. Did anybody else watch a bunch of those, or was that like a uniquely my childhood experience thing? Because I remember growing up, the 2 shows that were always on was Wicked Tuna or Deadliest Catch. But I feel like that's just my personal experience growing up, right? Like, I don't know if I reference my favorite episodes of Wicked Tuna or what crabbing boats were my favorite on Deadliest Catch. Does anybody else know it, or do you all just assume that I voted for Donald J. Trump? You can say with your heart which one it is, by the way. Okay, because I've got a feeling that I know exactly which one you'd lean towards, but still, I did watch a decent bit of Deadliest Catch, though. Let's fucking go! Dude, Deadliest Catch was kind of Kino. I miss it. It got me into crabbing as a kid. I would go crabbing every summer. I would always ask to pull the traps. I will tell you right now, pulling the traps is horrible work. That is slave labor, man. It's insane. I would tear up the pads of my hands every time because we just had these rope traps that I'm rope burning myself to do, which it just was not a great time for me. And then also one time I remember one time I caught, there was like a giant turtle in there. Obviously, threw him back immediately. It wasn't that big. No, it wasn't like a sea turtle, right? Because we weren't crabbing in the Pacific or Atlantic Ocean, you know? It wasn't that serious. It was more a like creek somewhat nearby that had some crabs in it. So a lot of the times I was coming home empty-handed. No, that's not true. I probably had a mild case of sun poisoning, which does count towards something for sure. Lasting health effects that will be with me till the day I die, for sure. It's fine. If I get skin cancer, I'll just have them go top it off. What are the odds it kills me? I actually didn't realize that people died from skin cancer. And you might say, how could you not realize that people died from skin cancer? Because, like, the way it's described, people always just make it seem like... They make it just seem like it's a mole. You know what I mean? There's no shot a mole is killing me. Whether we're talking the animal or skin cancer. However, turns out that like that shit, it still counts as a tumor. I didn't realize that it did. I thought it was just like actually a discolored little patch of skin. And I figured, well, you know, it's not ideal for sure, but look, if I catch it, or if I had it, if I catch it, yeah, man. Dude, don't cough towards me. You'll give me a freaking skin cancer, man. Stop, dude, knock it off, man. Knock it off. By the way, if you're wondering why have I not healed, don't need to. See you guys now. Yeah, after I dodged, I felt that one coming. I went, oh shit, I went early. Now the bright side, even if I healed there, I was dead. That hip check does immense levels of damage. So it didn't really matter one way or another. And you might say that sounds like cope. Yeah, obviously, I'm the streamer. You think I'm gonna say something that makes me look bad? No, man. I'm PR trained. Watch this. I worked at Blizzard for 7 years. You think I'd mess up? Sorry. Oh, dude. Oh. Shot through the rock? And I'm to blame? Whoa, man. He might be out here giving love a bad name. That's actually insane to me. Holy. I don't think I have a Nullberry on me. Yeah, that's regrettable. That's regrettable. It's fine. It's fine. It will be fine. Yeah, I was thinking about it because one of the streams recently, we were talking about Bluey. I don't remember, probably last week, if I had to guess, because I haven't done any since then. But, dude, so like, I think Bluey's dead, right? Okay, not in real life. The dog's alive. The cartoon dog is still alive. Good news. But I mean, like, the hype surrounding Bluey is over. So I think I can finally say it. I don't understand why it got popular in the first place. My understanding was it was kind of like a show for Disney adults who broke through the glass ceiling and didn't want to be like, oh, I watch more than just Disney, but they couldn't really break through hard enough. Like, they barely broke through the first ceiling, so they got captured in the second one, which was liking Bluey instead. That's kind of my understanding of the show as an outsider. Now, the main reason that I was even thinking about Bluey recently is, like, if I know one thing about the people who like Bluey, they love to consume products. So, I think that there's a genius marketing opportunity here that the companies need to take advantage of. It's all about consuming product, dear customer. So why don't we make LaBlue Blues, which are like little Labubu's but with Bluey's face? They could be Bluey's shape and have the Labubu's face. I might be on to something. I thought it was just an Australian toddler show. All right, so it never hit Europe the way it hit the US. Got it. That's all that I'm learning here. Yes, it is a show for kids. And I think as a show for kids, it's probably completely fine to put on for your children. I'm not trying to be like, if you like the show because you watch it with your kids, you deserve to burn in hell. I'm talking about the adults who are like, it's actually really good for adults to watch too. Which I just don't think so. Because they're like, it teaches you healthy family relationships. But I already have those. It came free with like, I already have an idealized version of what they would be. It came with the fact that if I were to have a child, I would be like, okay, let me make sure that I treat him or her in a way that would have facilitated my growth and understanding of the world around me, rather than not having a short temper with them. But they're like, the dad in the show, like, he's really inspiring to me because he like doesn't yell at his kids. Yeah, I'd hope not. The bar can't just be on the floor. How the fuck do I wake up a sleeping Plesioth? It's a great question we've asked ourselves. What if I just hit you with one of these? Bitch. Hold on. Bitch. Okay. Wake up, Mr. Freeman. Alright, Plesioth, you versus me now. But you know, it hit a very big stride in the US, and I don't, to this day, I've never actually understood why it had the adult fan base that it did. Like, parents who watched it with their kids, you get a complete pass, okay? Obviously, you'd like the show. It's one of the better children's shows on, from what I've heard from adults who have watched it at age like 40, without their children. So, if you liked it because you watched it with your kids, that makes a lot of sense. I just don't understand how there were enough people who didn't have kids watching this children's show that it got any form of an adult fan base. You know what I mean? It just doesn't really, it's not passing the test in my mind. We'll run over here. He's gonna do an attack. We're waiting for him to commit to something. There it is. Hip check. That's long cooldown afterwards. We drink on that. Spray him water. Me too, buddy. Every summer. Like the human Nerf super soaker, buddy. Woo! Okay. With every single part of your attack because he moved 3 inches. This guy's good. Alright, he can't hit underneath him when he does that. Be ready for a hip check. Or knock him over and embarrass him. Make him cry. Bully him while he's down. Make him feel things he's never felt before. I don't know if that was an attack or not. Like, I know I took damage, but I feel like it's insanely possible that he just bailed on the attack to hit me. Or whatever. He's dead. It's fine. Oh, Plesioth, how I hate you so. G-rank Plesioth sucks. That is not a good experience. I'm unfortunately gonna have to rate him negatively on Uber. That's gonna be a 4 instead of 5 stars. The lowest honor I can give somebody. The biggest disservice. You know, so how do you guys actually, if you use any of those ride sharing or like DoorDash or anything like that, how do you determine for yourself what rating is worth what? And you might say, I just click 5-star on everything. Congratulations, you ruined the value of a 5-star. It's your fault. But I don't need to give 5-star on everything. Unless everything was done to instruction. What do I mean by that? Well, I give instructions for the door code, okay? To my building. And I have a note in there that says, intercom does not work. Enter door code who come inside. If you send me a message after I said that, where you say, hey, I'm down here at the bottom, how am I supposed to get in? You have dropped substantially in my ratings. Substantially. Because you might say not everyone can read. Maybe. He was able to read how to get to my place and put in the address. So it seems like there was enough going on, and you're operating a car. Okay, now obviously the two are not mutually exclusive, but if you're on your phone enough to figure out how to enter navigation information whilst driving, and you were able to set up your own DoorDash account, I think that you can read the instructions. And I'm not a light tipper. I feel like I tip more than I should. Now, DoorDash tries to make you tip way more than you should because they try to have you tip 20% after their fees and like all of that kind of stuff, which is so dumb because you added the fees, not me. And also, those fees you're adding do not add any value to the order itself. So I tip 20 to 25% of the food's value, not of the tax, not of DoorDash fees, not of anything like that, because it's just like double dipping for no reason. You can't increase the price and then say, by the way, you should tip on our increased price. No, man, not at all. It's like there's a restaurant near me. It pisses me off. They say, oh, well, by the way, we don't do tipping. And do you want to know what they do? When you get your receipt, they do a 20% service charge. So you do tipping. I don't care that you call it something else. That doesn't matter to me. You are forcing tipping. And honestly, I'd respect it more if you just said, hey, please tip well. Especially because, I mean, I've just been noticing this around. I don't know if it's probably not some conspiracy theory or anything. And maybe it's just something weird with how they calculate stuff that makes it wrong. But I've been noticing on some receipts that I get, it'll be like 20% tip. And then I do the math on what 20% is, and I'm like, but that doesn't make any sense. Because 20% is like $2 less than this. Why is it so... You know, like, why doesn't it add up? Also, holy shit, is this one awesome. Do I have one of those for Switch Axe? No. Okay. Oh, wait, I do. Ah, but it's element file. Well, it was nice to dream for almost a second that, like, I'd have a cool one. Is there one for glaive? I feel like they do way less glaives. The Hellblade one is sick. There's your Elder, there's your Silver Wing. They did do one, and it looks clean, man. I could make this one if I wanted. I don't think I'd go on for Sword and Shield. Sorry, I'm getting distracted over here. Rats drink as much as 500 gallons of water each day. I think you're adding up the whole species, if I had to guess. I don't think an individual rat does that. I think that's cruel and unusual punishment. Hey, I've been wrong before, regrettably, but that one goes kind of crazy. Too bad the Rajang Switch Axe also sucks ass. Yo, being a Switch Axe man is suffering and pain, huh? Like, what am I supposed to do with over half of my weapons being useless? Impact file, impact file, impact file, impact file. They have one element file when I go through this entire page. Okay, maybe on this one it'll have more. Impact, impact, impact. Two elements. Impact, impact, impact. Couple more elements on this one. Okay, there are a lot of elements there. Impact, 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 impact. But, like, I'm just noticing, right? Like, I'm just noticing. Now let's go here. Power, para, power, element, dragon, power, power. Now these are great. Those are some great power ones. Poison file. There's a power. That one's usable. Power, usable. Element file, element file, element file, dragon file, dragon file. Saying dragon file and element files are useless, right? But they are far more limited than the universal of power. Exhaust file. Yeah, man, as though you'll ever make those good. I wish. I fucking wish I could use one of these. Means go off a sip of water. I did. I had a singular one, and I felt my entire innards crying out in joy. And we could use the Chameleos one at some point, technically. But I don't know. We got the Plesiot. Holy. Yo, she walks into the bedroom wearing this, you know you're taking it. That's crazy. What kind of outfit is that? Sorry, I was projecting what I was hoping to have happen. We could make that one. It would take us from +3 to +2, which I'm not huge on, but we could make it work. Okay. We'll start looking out. King Baldwin looking ass helmet. I know, like what the? It's insane. I mean, it looks kind of sick. Wait, what? Huh? You talking about the helmet that I got, or the fact that I was saying it's life is pain if you're a Switch Axe man? Because it is. People are gonna tell you it's not that bad. I'm telling you right now, those people are preying on my downfall. The helmet. Hold on, I can go back and put it back on. Where am I gonna find? Volcano, I think, has what we're looking for. Oh, wait. Doesn't matter. I can cancel this. Because I'm not allowed to go back down after I take out the quest. Bro, which one was it? Hold on. It was the Plesioth helmet? Yeah, bro. Dude! Hold on. Look at this thing, man. What the? That's insane. I mean, that's a sick helmet, though. I gotta give it up. The Blango head. I mean, the Blango's a classic. How can you not love the Blango one? Senator Gunner hat. Looks sick, actually. Okay. What we need. A Latina girlfriend with... Oh, sorry. Hierarchy of needs. Do you think a rat king would actually be like an orgy for rats? No, I'm pretty sure they're in immense pain. It's in... If you're looking at like a rat king and thinking to yourself, that's probably an orgy, you should stay away from the movie Human Centipede because it might be the most attractive thing you'll ever see in your life. If that's the kind of thing that makes you go, man, maybe they're into this, you gotta stay away. All right. We'll take out the cold drinks on this one. Busting out a couple cold brewskis with the boys. I don't even know how you charm farm. This is all new to me. This is all French to me. It all has a certain je ne sais quoi. What does that mean? It sucks. I don't know. What do we got going on? I don't know, none of these really like speak my language. Sometimes Rat Kings starve from fucking though, don't they? I don't know. Now you got me thinking of like, hold on. We can draw this out. Okay, so like, let me open up my Microsoft Paint. Sorry, my normal Paint. Tab it over to the correct screen. Okay. Let me change my window capture to MS. That's not the right one. MS Paint. There we go. You guys see that? Oh, why not? Windows, you protecting Paint? What has it done? Match title, hook rate normal. Never mind. Looks like I can't draw. They knew I would be too strong if I could just draw. It's like the type of thing that I'm thinking of. Paint in white on a black background. Oh, yeah, dude. That could become like my new brand. Because no one else has ever done that before. But like I was imagining lovingly two rats. Just kind of like with their hands moving up against each other and their tails wrapping up together and being like, was it good for... Oh, shit, I'm stuck. Oh, dude, you're not going to believe this. I gotta get out of here after this. It's stuck. I can't do anything. Okay. Let us store Ancient Max antidotes. Well done steaks are fine to have. Cool drinks are fine to have. We can drop the normal potions. We should only need Mega. We shouldn't really need Whetstones. We definitely don't need paintballs. Okay. Bring up as much space as possible. Volcano time. Farming ore nodes that might give enduring charms for godly talismans. Okay. You farm charms by farming the charm. Dude, I gotta say it. The internet might be... This is not the volcano. What am I doing here? Bro, how did I end up in the wrong locale? Wait a minute. They call me Roronoa Zoro. I mean, we kind of have a Rat King model. I wish that I could remember what I set it to, because there's one where I have a crown that I can put on, but I just don't remember what the hotkey is for it. It's not that one. That was derp. It's not that one. That one took a screenshot. What else we got? It's not that one. That one's just small little eyes. And don't be looking at me with them big old eyes. We can go small eye for a bit. I'm down. Okay. Let's go do a volcano run or two. I think I did marshland. No, it wasn't marshland. Was I just in the jungle? Dude, they've got fun in games. They've got everything you want, and they know the names. When I was a kid, I thought they made that song up for Guitar Hero, and I was like, wow. I can't believe they made a whole song just for Guitar Hero. That's so cool. What was the one that was yesterday? For, I don't know if anybody plays Bandle. Yesterday's Bandle was one of my favorite Bandles I've done in ages. Because normally I end up missing Bandles horribly, right? Like, as it turns out, I might be tone deaf. With that said, let's talk about the tragedy that recently happened in Texas. I might be tone deaf. Because every time I'm playing Bandle, I listen to the music's beats, and I'm trying to figure it out. I'm like, I know this bass line from somewhere, but nothing clicks in my mind ever until I hear lyrics. But yesterday's Bandle, I was like, I know this. Hold on, lock it. I think was it Hit Me With Your Best Shot? No. Can't remember what it was. I think it was Dream On. I think, yeah, it was Dream On. And I believe I also got that one from Guitar Hero, which is why I thought of it. Time Worn Charm, by the way. Tell Time to take it off, then. We don't want to have that worn charm anymore. God, look at all those Baroth. Or, is it Baroth? No. What the fuck are they called? Basarios. Look at all those Basarios spots around the map. Was Baroth new for Monster Hunter World? Or was he like an old one that I just don't know? Holy shit, reverse those eyes. Fine. Fine. I'll start looking at you with them big old eyes. I pulled up Bandle after you mentioned it. Okay, well, hold on. Like, don't tell me what today's is, because I haven't done today's and immediately got it. I'm gonna be fucked dead. Like, everybody, whenever I hear, like, oh, this is an easy one, or like, oh, this one will be good, it's always the worst one of my life for me. Baron guy is 3rd gen. Wait, like Baroth, not Basarios, right? Actually, Basarios is even before 3rd gen, so it had to be. Okay. I just feel like they made such a big deal about marketing Baroth for Wilds, and or not Wilds, sorry, for World. And no offense to Baroth, full offense to Baroth, that monster sucks. I just don't enjoy fighting him very much at all, honestly. Well, dude, over the weekend I went out for Hot Pot, right? And I kind of got a little caught off guard when I was going to pay my bill. Because I'm used to restaurants just, like, not caring. Yeah, Basarios is all, yeah. But I'm used to restaurants just, like, not caring that I want to pay. You know what I mean? Like, I'll ask for the check, be handed the check, it sits there, and then I'm like, I'm ready to pay, but you can't pay up front. They have to take it and run your card. So I'm just sitting there with my card, awkwardly sitting inside this little leather thing, waiting for them to pick up my card and go run it so that I can, you know, leave after having paid for my food. I was caught so off guard because the dude just walked over after I requested the check, and he had the pay terminal there, and I was reading over the bill, and I was like, yep, looks all good. And he was like, all right. And he was still standing there. I didn't realize that, like, it's legal for restaurants to not inconvenience me. I thought they kind of had to just steal my card and I would pray that I would see it again. That system you guys have is wild to me. Well, that's why I was kind of caught off guard by it going the opposite way at Hot Pot, man. I kind of felt like a dumbass because I looked up and I was like, oh shit, he's waiting for me. Wait, he's just letting me pay at my table as though this is a service I have paid for. What the fuck? Like, I was stun locked by it for a second. I couldn't... Now, it made me realize, why do we do it that way? It's so much... It's just absolutely more inconvenient to have this extra step of wait for the waiter to be ready to take your card up to the front, at which point you have to wait while they run it at the front. We live in a society where people can, like, take my credit card, I can tap it to a little square attached to their smartphone, and it instantly deposits into their account from what I'm buying. And I'm supposed to believe restaurants still need to take my card to the front desk in order to... I just don't believe you. What are you doing with my card? Are you making a rubbing of it? You're gonna steal all of my information. I don't trust you anymore, because now I'm like, wait a minute. Why do I do it this way? So now I don't feel... It feels weird to go back the other way. Especially... I wonder if you could. No, because they always try to upsell, so I doubt they'd want me to. Because I was thinking, like, what if I paid ahead of time? Like, walked up to the front desk and was like, hey, just so you know, this is for my table over there. You can just run this card and then we'll be all good. But no, because then the waiter or waitress can't do their favorite upsell, which is after I've ordered $120 worth of food with my group, right? They love to walk over and say, so what are we thinking for the dessert menu today? And, like, the answer is I'm not. Like, obviously. Look at the feast before me, man. Like, medieval kings would look at this and go, holy, get me this guy's cooks. And you're over here asking what else I would like. I've feasted. I've had all I could ever desire. One slice of cheesecake that's double my daily calorie intake, while tempting, will not make me... Like, speaking of cheesecake, right? I know lactose intolerant people exist. Before you try and strawman that, right? I don't trust people who don't like cream cheese. Because I can't imagine what there is to dislike about it. And even if you're like, it's the flavor that I don't like, then get like one of the herbal cream cheeses, and then bada bing, bada boom, you'll like it. And now you're all, like, I don't understand how you could not like it at all. Dry ass bagel eater. And like, for the lactose intolerant people, it's completely possible to like something that's bad for you. Now, if you don't eat it all the time because it's bad for you, I'd be like, that's very understandable. But you can still like something that's bad for you, and if you need proof of that, go on our, like, hashtag relationships on TikTok for about 10 minutes. You'll see that people love things that are bad for them all the time. Almost more than they like things that are good for them, okay? So, essentially what I'm saying is you have no excuse not to like cream cheese. I was thinking about it because earlier today I was eating a bagel, okay? Full disclosure. There's a store near me that, like, has homemade bagels, and every Saturday they do 12 bagels for the price of 6. So I've been kind of fiending them recently, I won't lie. It's made me go back to eating breakfast. I cut breakfast out for a while, kind of told myself, what's the point? It's just dead calories. I'll tell you what the point of breakfast is, and you're not going to believe me on this. It tastes really good. Like, I think if we're looking at hits to misses ratio, breakfast is almost all hits with very few foods I would consider a miss. And even the foods I'd consider a miss, I understand why they exist. It's like, here's a great example of a miss. If you've ever tried natto, N-A-T-T-O, I believe is how it's spelled. It is the fermented soybean one that's very popular in a lot of Asian places. I think primarily Japan, but I'm not 100% sure its popularity in, like, Korea, China, any of the Vietnam. I don't know any of the other popularities that it would have, right? But, like, that one's definitely a miss because it has the worst texture of any food I've ever consumed, and its taste isn't much better. However, while being one of the largest misses of all time, it's, in terms of flavor, its health benefits kind of vastly outweigh it. Like, when people say they like avocados because they're a superfood, you gotta try natto, I think. I think it's gonna change a lot for you because I hate avocado. Full disclosure, and I know I was just saying that breakfast foods mostly hates, and a lot of people love their avocado toast. It's too millennial coded for me, and also avocado's kind of got a snot consistency to me, so I'm unable to enjoy it because of that. But I think that if you are someone who enjoys avocado with your breakfast, you should definitely try natto because your health benefits are going to shoot up. And it's not like you're going to be missing out on much flavor. Alright, I think we're good just to turn this in. We didn't get much in terms of our centaur stuff, but mashed into a salad can hit difference, but on toast I never got it. Yeah, I'm not a huge guac guy either. I don't know if that's a hot take or not. I don't like despise it or anything, but like you're serving chips, right? You've got queso, salsa, and guac. I'm not touching the guac because the salsa and queso, in my mind, are vastly overperforming what the guac's bringing to a table. You know what I mean? I don't think the guac should be left out of the equation, obviously. It's got a lot of shooters, and if I leave it out of the equation, they will kill me. And also tell me, actually, it's good for you because it's actually like a superfood. And God help your soul if you argue with someone who says that. All right. It's time to see what kind of charms we get. It's time to play the game. Time to play the game! Creator Talisman, which gives us Drill Tusk X2 and 3 slots. That's not the worst. I don't know what Drill Tusk does or what Spirit does, but 3 slots isn't bad. Loading and Blade Scale we won't be using. Crit Draw X5, but no slots. Chain Crit +5. Mounting +9. I don't hate that. It's hard for me to get mad at that one. Spirit +3 minus... Oh, these are the Legend Talismans. These ones are what? Creator? Okay, so I'm looking for Legend. Well, then let's go through the other ones first. Okay, Chance and Dread King X, sure. Guard Up, Prolong SP, whatever. These ones we don't care about at all. Alright, time for our big 3. Chain Crit and Deadeye. Okay. Spirit and Chance. Wow. I'm not sure if I love a lot of what I saw there. I used to hate avocado in every form when I was younger, but eventually grew up to enjoy it in certain foods at least. I'm coming around on beans. I used to be beans' #1 hater, man. You might say, what's there to hate? They don't taste like much. That was kind of my issue. It's why I don't like lettuce. And I know, shocker, gamer isn't healthy. Listen here, buddy. Chain Crit kind of good. The Chain Crit on the first one I liked a lot. I thought that one was really good. A lot of my other ones I didn't care for too much. Now we do have to go get more centaur pieces. But we can just go back to the volcano again. Hey DJ. We're gonna be playing that shit louder. Eating avocados on toast makes me feel decrepit AF, who lost the ability to chew. That's kind of why I don't fuck with a lot of avocado, is it's primarily served pre-mashed like that. And when I eat avocado, I know a baby bird would love it, and that's kind of why I don't love it. It's curated for their palate, not mine. So that's kind of where I know it wasn't meant to be. Sorry, I meant to keep checking. What do we have missing on this one? That's our carapace. Can I get any like information, like help? Just tell me where I get the carapace. Is the carapace from the big one or the small one? Well, that's a great question. How about we never figure it out? Piercing claws? Well, where do I get one of those, man? They just throw words at me. They just throw words at me. Got a statement from my PayPal account that said your new statement for your monthly balance. Yeah, I unlinked everything from my PayPal and I don't use it anymore. So like, I'm hoping the balance isn't changing too much. Piercing Claw Monster Hunter. Generations. Ultimate. Yeah, a Piercing Claw. Okay. So, Monster Centaur Carves. Oh my god. Okay. We're gonna need a lot of those. There's this new invention called Walkie-Podia. Oh, what? Just like for look, I'm looking up MHGU right now on Kiraniko, okay? I know what I'm doing. I'm built for this. Ooh, okay, we can make our first G Centaur part, which is huge. This one is Handicraft and Chain Crit. Now, it will come with the downside of we are losing critical 3 right now. So I'm going to do... Hold on, is that... Oh, it's 18,000 and 180,000. Thank God. We are going to equip it, but... Or, sorry, we're going to craft it, but not equip it just yet. And then we're going to go over to our next one, which is going to be this GX one. Where I'm just going to need more carapaces. All right. Hold on. Centaur carapace. And MGE? What the fuck is it? I guess MGE? I don't know. Harder than a centaur shell, this carapace is strong and hard to work with. Village 8-star Marshland Horror. Wait, is that the same as just the one that I get from the earlier difficulty? Is this carapace exactly the same as the non-G rank one? Because if so, we should just go fight the non-G rank one. Because it looks like Naked Aggression, you're guaranteed 1. And Marshland Horror Story, you're guaranteed 1. Which are village quests. Unless this is different from the one that I'm looking at. No, because it also comes from G2 Naked Aggression. And trust me, I know plenty about Naked Aggression, alright? I'm not getting caught slouching again. So we're looking for an 8-star... Insane. 8-star village. 8-star village? I must be losing my mind. I don't see an 8-star. Oh. Oh. Oh, he counts as... Oh, I'm stupid. He counts as... Yeah, I get it. Don't bother to... I get it. He counts as hub quests only, not village quests. That makes a lot of sense. Okay, yeah, because over here would be where I actually get 8-star. Yeah. Oh. It should be this one. Marshland Horror Story. Naked Aggression. Naked Aggression is a guaranteed drop. Okay. Let's just go, like, absolutely pile drive this stupid, dumb crab into the ground about 30 times. It was bound to happen, man. Okay, since all creatures are evolving towards crabs anyways, we might as well nip a couple of them in the bud. What am I missing? Ah, yes, whetstones. I suppose those are quite helpful. Do I care about a paintball? No, because, like, what do paintballs really do? Oh, they make it so you don't have to find the monster as much. I'll just find him. How hard could it possibly be to find him in the marshland? Fire resist S or thunder resist S? I guess give me this one. I don't care, man. Defender high and weakener. Honestly, if he's a weak version of himself, that'd be really funny. Because I'm already not loving his odds for himself, you know? So lowering those any... Ooh, that's rough. That is really rough. Okay. We should be. Oh, wait, this is the marshal? Oh, my God. It's so much easier than I even thought. He's not even gonna stand a chance, this poor fella. His aggression's not even gonna look naked to us. Well, no wonder I wasn't getting many of his carapaces, because he kind of had to go to a different difficulty than I was expecting. Area 2? I think Area 2 is precisely where we're looking for. Wow. It's not exactly what we're looking for, by the way, at all. We're looking for Area 3. Or 1? We're looking for whichever one hops off here. Area 3. Okay. Sorry. Sometimes the maps just kind of, in my mind, they don't exist. Which is great to hear from an Isaac player for as long as I've played Isaac. Good to see that the mapping kind of muscle memory that you get from playing a game like The Binding of Isaac really sticks with me no matter what I do. Yo, so how do I fight the fucking bug, man? I kept getting told, wait until you fight, I think if their name is Atal Khan, whatever it is. How do I fight them? Because people kept saying they're a really good ending to the game. But I'm assuming that they appear before G rank also, unless they're only in G rank. But it feels weird that a random ass bug would be G rank only, because it's, no offense, it's a bug. I'm not saying that means it has to be easy. I'm just saying that it probably isn't too hard. They've never really made a bug monster. Sorry to Celtis, my absolute goat. I do love Celtis Queen. They don't really make bug monsters hard. You need to finish G rank. Holy! Maybe this bug is juiced. Either that or it's like a victory lap. And he just got cool armor. But, man, what are they putting in there? Well, not finish it per se, but it's the end of G rank. Holy! All right, never mind then. That bug goes crazy. That's on me. I was not respecting his game nearly enough. All right. Sorry, I'm kind of just playing like dumb. Because in my mind, he can't kill me, which is incorrect. To dodge that, because that is a hitbox the entire time, and you might say, why is that a hitbox the entire time? I didn't develop the game. Hate to break it to you. Check this shit out. That would have been so cool though. We can agree that like I would have got so much aura had it knocked him over and killed him. Aura's one of those things that I feel like you can't ever declare that you yourself have. You know what I mean? Like, it feels toxic to one's aura to say you have it. It's a title that must be bestowed. When somebody is a self-proclaimed best in the world at something, I don't trust it. You can't self-proclaim that you have aura, because how am I supposed to believe you? You're a biased source. Like, I'm the self-proclaimed #1 best survivor in Dead by Daylight. Why? I've played about 4 games. Why did I pick that one? Yeah, so you know how like they released the FNAF thing for Dead by Daylight? Well, we got one friend who's really into Dead by Daylight. So I was like, fuck it, teach me how to play the game. How's my Dead by Daylight learning arc going? I'm really good at getting killed. Like, I'm very good at that part. Now, not to brag too much, but I've only played 4 games. And I've got 6 successful pallet drops to my name. So, I might be the best to ever do it. They're saying my run is generational. If I play it on stream ever, just be ready, okay? I might be the best of all time. Also, I have like no perks at all. Because, holy, like, it's such a grind, man. I had no clue how grindy DBD was. I thought it was just like hide and seek for adults. It turns out it's hide and seek for adults with 77 extra rules thrown in. There was one time I died, and in the end chat, the killer said, "Sorry for tunneling, please don't report." And like, why would I report somebody for killing me twice in a row? It's like the point of the game. But apparently tunneling is like a grave offense, right? Like if you tunnel somebody in DBD, you might as well have killed their firstborn. But I didn't understand, because like, I get it. It's optimal to try and go and get one person out. It sucks that it was me, but like, I can't hate the player for having good game sense. It doesn't feel good to me as a player, sure, but like, alternatively, if I didn't want to get tunneled, I probably could have played around cover smarter and not got killed. But I mean, I don't know. I didn't, like, the ethics community was about to kill him for doing that. Now, granted, it was somebody on my team had said it in the first place. They were like, why'd you tunnel the new guy? Which I don't know how they knew I was new. Do you think it was like my green perks and the fact that my level, or my character was like level 4? That might have given it away a little bit. DVD is the Fortnite of horror. Yeah, but like DVD is kind of awesome though. That's like the part that sucks, is I really like DVD. I've never been good at it or learned the game, but I do think it's one of the best second monitor games to be into of all time. Because DVD always has something going on. And it never really... Well, it's actually not optimal to tunnel, TBH. Well, like, it's optimal to remove a hand from doing the generators early. Like, tunneling when there's still 5 gens that need to be completed is optimal. I don't think tunneling when there's, like, 2 gens left makes any sense. But, like, I understand from an early game perspective, the most optimal thing you can do is put heavy pressure on one character. Because even if you don't kill them, let's say you just get double hook and you put them to death hook. Now the team has to play around their one member being death hooked, and they'll have to body block more, and they'll have to play around that far harder if you can get the early double kill on it. Now, I don't really know how it affects your blood points because I've never played killer in my life, and maybe that's what I'd do on stream. But I just know that, like, from a game sense point of view, I can see why getting somebody out early and saying, is good. We got a ton of carapaces, by the way. That just feels so good. But yeah, no, DVD, it is kind of like just the Fortnite-ification of a bunch of IPs. But I don't mind it because there wasn't really anything else that did this for horror. You know what I mean? Aside from Fortnite. So I think it's kind of cool to see a game that has all these horror IPs together. The closest we had before it was like Mortal Kombat, where they had Freddy and Jason. I believe it was Freddy and Jason were in the same game. So I am very happy there's something that exists that is just in the horror line. Now, and I say this as somebody who's a fan of the show, was there any reason to put Tokyo Ghoul in the game that wasn't money? I don't think so. That one never, I don't, that one's the only one that doesn't really sit right with me. And some people are going to say, what about Five Nights at Freddy's? Five Nights at Freddy's being in Dead by Daylight is fucking awesome. And if you don't think it's awesome, you have no whimsy in your life. Because it definitely fits the genre. And I know what you're going to say. So what, you just don't think that Japanese horror should be represented in the game at all because you think the anime one's out of place? No. I think the Japanese horror should be represented, and that's why it's like awesome that we have the, I can't remember her name right now. Is it Sadako, I think? The girl from The Ring. I think it's awesome that we have her. That's a really good one that makes a lot of sense to me. The other ones, just not as much, I'll say. Not as much. But even when they did the Attack on Titan collab, right? I was cool with that one because it was a reskin for Oni to make him look like the Colossal Titan. And then they had skins for the survivors that just had them in like the uniforms from Attack on Titan. That is a great collab to me because it's purely visual and fans of the show get what they want. But I don't think Tokyo Ghoul's ghouls have a moveset that makes sense for them to be added as a killer. Because their moveset is, I run at you and I kill you to death. Which I just don't think it makes for the most engaging killer for the majority of players. Now maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's a lot of people out there going, actually, that one's my favorite killer in the entire game. So maybe you should freaking watch yourself. But I don't think so, man. I'm yet to see it have any shooters other than the people who bought the character and going, wow, they're broken. Also, Kaneki being a killer makes so little sense to me as well. I think it would have made sense if it was him with the centipede parts of his tentacles after he goes through the torture and everything, and he's a very different character than he was. But Kaneki being a killer in his season 1 first becoming a ghoul outfit, now that to me does not make much sense, because he was very vehemently against the idea of killing or harming anybody. Now, I know that the entity's lore in DBD is like, oh, but they make them crazy. But come on, man. let's be for real for a second, shall we? I understand that that's the lore for them in DBD, but like, come on. We know, and it's okay. Even post-torture, Kaneki wasn't insanely murderous to random civilians and such. Yeah, but I would be able to, I think it would make more sense that like the entity's influence was hitting him harder, you know what I mean? And also, I mean, technically, in Dead by Daylight, there are a couple of people, I can't remember who I think it might be, is it Spirit is the one? I can't remember which one it is. One of the killers I know is like, they wouldn't hurt anybody who's innocent, but the entity makes them see all of the survivors as like the person who abused them or something like that. I can't remember 100%. You'll have to forgive me. It's been, because I think it was a DVD original character that this one was made for. And like, so therefore, in their normal universe, they would have never harmed these people, but because the entity makes them see them as like, oh, this person, I don't remember. I believe that was Spirit. Yeah, I thought it was Spirit. I can't remember 100% of the details very clearly, but that's fine. God, crabs are awesome, man. No wonder I liked my hermit crab so much when I was a kid. Too bad he ran away to that farm. Hopefully he comes back soon. I mean, little guy must be absolutely living it up on that farm. He hasn't wanted to come home at all. I know that I probably like animals more than the average person, right? Like, I really love pets. Granted, I don't like dogs that much, and I know that that seems like a red flag, but wow, that hit me. That's on me, I suppose. Oh, I forgot to take... Hold on. We have to abandon. It seems like I'm rage quitting. I forgot to grab back my max potions. I knew I was forgetting something important. I mean, we could try and fight it on lower max HP, but I feel like we're just asking to get one shot. Yeah. So let's abandon this one. But, I know I like pets more than the average person. And I know it's also strange that I don't like dogs that much. Here's my take on dogs, right? If I'm around your dog, I'm going to be completely cordial with your dog. I'm going to pet him. I'm going to have fun with him. Unless he's too jumpy, hyper-energetic dogs, they kind of skeeve me out. Like the dogs who are huge but think that they're still tiny, I don't like being around them at all. Just because they don't have manners, you know what I mean? And I don't know if that's like you're supposed to train them so that they're not like that. I don't really know because I've never had a dog, right? But I'm not huge on dogs, but I am very happy to be over at friends' houses when they have dogs that I do like. You know what I mean? I would never want one for myself. I don't think I'd really have... No, I mean, I'd provide good care and everything. I just, like... I don't know. I don't have the desire for a dog, right? I'm very happy to hang out with other people's dogs because I don't have to do all of the maintenance and upkeep. Hold. Are we back? I think we're back. Just had a couple frame drops. I think we're back. Sorry about that. My connection went to red for a bit on OBS. But I'm very happy to hang out with somebody's dogs because they're always super chill to hang out with. Again, as long as they're not too overly energetic. But I'm just not me. And I'll be happy to, like, I don't think, how could you own a dog? You know what I mean? Because I know there's a bunch of people who hate dogs and, like, they hate dogs. I just don't want to own one, but I do love dogs. You know what I mean? So, well, I got a little something to say about dog owners. Didn't mean to eat that. Whoops. I got a little something to say about dog owners. When somebody doesn't like dogs, you have to get it through your thick fucking skull that yours is not going to be the exception. That pisses me off, man. When somebody's like, oh, so I just don't really like dogs. And they're like, oh, but mine's so friendly. He doesn't bite. I don't think that that matters to them, man. I don't. Otherwise, they would have said, oh, I don't like dogs except for yours who's friendly and doesn't bite. Like, they're saying it as a way of being like, hey, just so you know, I don't know how to interact with your dog because I don't like them. And then you're over here putting both of your dog and that person in an awkward situation because that person doesn't really know how to respond to dogs' affection and or care and or advances because they don't like dogs. And then you're double compounding that with your dog having to try and convince somebody who hasn't liked dogs their entire life that they're the one and only exception to it. Stop trying to make your dog like an Uncle Ruckus, right? Like the sacrifice of, oh, they'll like this one and hate all the other ones. No, man, it's fine. It's okay. They're not gonna do anything to your dog also because they don't like them. It's not like, oh, you don't like my dog? I better get out of here. They're gonna kill him. Anyways, I would say that I like pets more than the average person, right? So I'm sure that not everybody sees this as an issue the way that I do. However, I think it should be illegal to advertise your product to an animal that does not provide substantial care to that animal. And you might say, what are you talking about? Well, by and large, the pet industry is a business, if you didn't know. Hate to break it to you if you thought that they really care about you. They're a business. So with rodents, for example, they really like putting every kind of rodent on their thumbnail of a treat. And I think that shit should be absolutely illegal. Why? Well, a great example, there was this one brand of chinchilla treats I was looking at to get for my pet chinchilla. Now, if you don't know, chinchillas have a very sensitive and delicate stomach, okay? They can't ingest a lot of foods just because where they live on top of the Andes Mountains in nature has led to them evolving to have a very sensitive stomach and palate because there's not much food up there, so they don't know how to process a lot of the foods that people would consider common, right? So a great example of this is fruits and vegetables are actually a very large no-go for chinchillas because the natural sugar in them is too high for the chinchilla to process, and it can lead to them bloating if they have too much natural sugar. Now, it's not like an instant death thing, right? It's more like an upset stomach and discomfort, but if you keep feeding, it can be very bad and cause inflammation within them because they're bloating too much, right? Great. Brands will just be like, hey, here's this guinea pig treat that has carrots in it. We'll also just throw a chinchilla on the front cover. You've got to outlaw that. That's insane. You shouldn't be allowed to do that. You shouldn't be allowed. It'd be like selling pet rats rat poison and going, well, we put a rat on the cover. It's safe for them. I thought they would explode. I mean, like, they might as well. Their insides will eventually. If you keep feeding them sugars that they shouldn't be having, they don't know how to process them. It bloats up. I think that shit's got to be cut immediately. And you see it all the time with fish, too. All those companies that sell you, like, beta fish tank, and it's the smallest tank you've ever seen. Look up how much room a beta fish is supposed to have real quick. And recognize that as a child, you probably abused one. Recognize as a child, like, and it's not on you, it was likely on your parents, because, like, you wanted a fish, and they went, okay, then I'll just buy them this cheap tank for it, without looking into what the fish needs. And it's hard to entirely blame them, because when a company advertises something and says, this is our beta fish container, you probably think to yourself, oh, this is made to house a beta fish in. But no, you just kind of, like, do that shit for fun. They just kind of enjoy lying to the people. I mean, why would you care if your pet, like, lived or died? You know what I mean? Now, this also segues into something I saw earlier today. which was a subreddit for like pet advice. And somebody posted on it saying that their pet got out, came back, and is now looking really rough, right? And in the pictures, anybody could tell you that the cat in the picture is suffering from heat stroke. It's insanely obvious that they're overheating, which makes sense because most of the US is going through a very harsh heat wave right now. Most of the east coast of the US, I don't know about anywhere else, but a very intense and harsh heat wave. So if a cat got out for 3 days, yeah, that would add up if they came back and were very dehydrated and out of water. Anyways, the main reason I bring this up is because people in the comments, there was a moderator who was like, guys, we don't shame people for sharing on here. If you let your cat get out and run away for 3 days during a heat wave, a bad owner. I'm sorry. They were like, we shouldn't shame people for how they treat their pets. We should. We totally should shame people for that. That's insane. That's psychotic, man. What are you talking about? 3 days? They're gone? No way. I mean, unless, of course, they're just one of those kinds of owners who has an outdoor cat, but like an irresponsible where they're like, I just let him run around for as many days as he wants because he always comes back. And then this time it went bad and people are like, oh, I'm so sorry this happened to you, as though they aren't enabling the very behavior that caused it to happen. That was just insane to me that the mods had to be like, guys, don't make fun of somebody. If somebody posted my cat got into the anthrax, what do? That's on you for having open anthrax. That's not on your cat for eating it. You can't just be like, my quirky little goofball ate rat poison. No, man, you made rat poison available to your quirky little goofball. You're the issue. Of course your kid's gonna eat it if it's in front of it. It doesn't know what rat poison is. It's just like, what the hell? This smells good. But this must be delicious. I mean, you're basically feeding it canned stuff every day. It doesn't know the difference between that and rat food. There's probably not much of a difference. As far as they know, it is the same. But, you know, that one kind of like felt insane to me because we should definitely, you're a horrible owner who is causing your pet to be in pain because of the way that you own your pet. You deserve to be like shamed. Absolutely. Because how did you come across an animal you are unable to provide sufficient care for? Of all the animals I care for, rats were by far my favorite pet. Rats are awesome, man. They're so sweet and kind. And they will always have one of the worst reputations among pets. And it's kind of fucked up, but that's the world we live in. The media has done too much PR damage to rats. At this point, people are like, oh, those dirty little trash dwellers, you don't understand. They boggle their eyes when they see you because they're excited to be in your presence. That's not a dirty little trash dweller. It's an animal whose entire existence and joy is tied to the fact that you are near them. Which is one of the sweetest things an animal can do. And then we're over here like disgusting little trash vermin. It's a messed up world we live in, and I don't know if anybody can ever help them recover their image. Like, they need some heavy PR training. Everybody I've seen who's ever owned a rat is like, it's one of the most rewarding pets I've ever owned. And then everybody who hasn't is like, they're dirty, disgusting, and they belong in the trash. Get a rat that can cook you gourmet meals. That's what we should do. We should release like a movie. Yeah, this would really turn their PR around. There's a movie about like a rat who was hiding underneath somebody's hat to help him cook food, right? Then people would be like, wow, look how smart and intelligent they are. They can help me with all manner of tasks that I didn't even realize they could. I think you're kind of onto something with that. Why has nobody thought of this before? What will we call the movie? We can workshop that one later. We salute what you do for the rat image. All right, taking it one step at a time, baby. Just doing this all one day at a time. Also, this crab is, unfortunately, I mean, he's just getting it handed to him. And not in a way he might like, I hope. Oh my God. Imagine missing that. Sorry about all that. You know I did not mean it, man. He gets so up in arms. Well, up in arm. Now that I've cut off one of his. You know what? Maybe he's in the right for being upset with me. Fair enough, honestly. Yeah, jump at me. See if that works for you. It does not, by the way. And it never will. Hold on. I've got an idea. Okay. Linguini from Ratatouille having sex for the first time, and his girl pulls his hair and starts controlling him. Thoughts? I feel like I'm on to something here. Like hair pulling on another level. She's like, I'm in the driver's seat now, and he's not even ready for it. Huh? It makes sense. Within the universe's canon, Linguini has his control panel directly underneath his curly hair. So if he's ever going crazy with... Well, I guess it doesn't have to... Oh, you're probably upset that I said having sex with a woman. I'm sorry. Having sex with somebody, and they start pulling on his hair to take control. They're like, it's my turn to be player one. I think that could go crazy. Hair pulling's already a staple to some people, so let's get this going. Now, granted, apparently, if you're into hair pulling, I kind of forgot that, like, you're setting feminism back a million years. Sorry. Sabrina Carpenter taught me this. That, like, if you think it's attractive to have your hair pulled, you might as well just, like, say that you hate all women. I know. She tried to warn us. Dude, that was one of the most nothing burger controversies I've ever seen. I'm sorry. Maybe I'm too terminally online, but people being like, Sabrina's new album cover is disgusting and disturbing. I looked it up, and like, I don't know. I guess, maybe, if it's like your first day on Earth, maybe that's a little bit like fucked up, but it's just somebody pulling on her hair while she's at like crotch level. I don't think that like sets women back, because isn't the entire point of feminism, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm not a woman, not yet, not until the woke takes over, but isn't the entire point that women would have the ability to choose whether or not they would like to be like that, and so therefore she has chosen that this is what makes her happy, and therefore it should be supported? Am I insane? Like, I thought that was the entire idea behind it, but I guess the whole point was like, it's supposed to empower women to do what they want, but if you don't do what a loud majority of, or I guess a loud minority of people say you should be doing, you're actually setting them back. Maybe. You reckon the rat could pull off a hyper combo KO during bedtime activities? Dude, never have sex with a Street Fighter player. Every time you're about to enter, you'll just hear, parry, counter. Sorry, that's more strive. Speaking of counter, did you guys see the new Hunter x Hunter game? Holy, absolute trash. Oh my god, do you know how painful it is to be a Hunter x Hunter fan my entire life? Finally get a new game releasing while I'm alive and cognizant. It's a fighting game published by Arc System Works, no less. Oh my god, we're feasting, we're eating good. Hey, how come I had to say published by Arc System Works? That's right, it wasn't developed by them at all. It was developed by Bushiroad, and you might say, I recognize that company name. Yeah, you must have played Yu-Gi-Oh! They made a lot of the card sleeves. A lot of them. You might say, what kind of, so a card sleeve company can make a game? No! Dear Lord, they cannot. Now, hard to fully blame them. I don't fully blame the developers. It looks like it was developed on a shoestring amongst shoestring budgets, right? Just based off the model quality, the sound effects, everything going into the game feels a little bit lackluster. Lackluster enough that I'm like, definitely something was wrong behind the scenes. Don't believe that all was right, because if all was right, nothing could explain this. It doesn't add up in my mind. But man, it hurts. It hurts so bad. I've waited so long for a good Hunter x Hunter game, and maybe my children will get one. Hey, maybe the series will be finished by then. I know that it goes on hiatus all the time because of the author's health conditions, by the way. I'm not like, how dare he not release the whole thing right now? I get it, okay? It's a horrible situation for everybody involved. I'm sure he wants to write more and draw more. Anime games are abysmal dog shit 90% of the time. Yeah, but I think what falsely gave me hope was a lot of the early advertising didn't really put Bushiroad as the developer. Now, they didn't put Arc System Works as the developer. They only put Arc System Works as the publisher. But when you show off a fighting game and say Arc System Works, there's a little bit of a thought of, oh, this is an Arc Sys fighting game, aka the people who made Dragon Ball FighterZ and Guilty Gear Strive, two of the most popular fighting games within the past 10 years, easily. Like, even if you don't like Strive, I know a lot of people have big issues with Strive, and like, whatever, it's up to you. Not everyone has to enjoy every game. I like Strive, but I mean, I never really went back after all the DLC dropped, so I probably wouldn't enjoy it nearly as much with DLC characters in the game, but still. When you put Arc System Works' name on an anime fighting game like that, it's hard not to get a little bit of hype and or expectations. And then when you kind of like stealth go, by the way, they're the publishers of the game, which still makes it completely fair to use their logo and all advertising without it being false advertising, because yes, they are associated with this project, and yes, they are publishing it, which makes it completely acceptable to say. I understand where they're coming from with that. I'm not trying to be like they should be arrested for saying Arc System Works made this game, because they don't say they made the game. They just kind of imply it by burying the lead by going new fighting game, Arc System Works, which, like, I get it. I'd do the exact same if the game was that abysmal. I'd be trying to do anything I can to go, no, guys, you gotta understand, the good ones made this. But man, is it bad. And like, the part that you can tell the developers were not trying to do a cash grab or make a bad game is how much little flavor stuff they put in the game. For example, minor spoilers for Hunter x Hunter that I won't go into any complete details for, because I think it's my favorite shonen anime easily. I think it's definitely worth a watch if you've never seen it before, especially if you're someone who touts that you really enjoy One Piece. I've got great news for you. This one's only like 140 episodes. That's nothing compared to a One Piece enjoyer, so you'll be fine. In fact, it might be like 150, but I don't know, I'm going through my 4th rewatch of it right now. But anyways, there's like little details. For example, when Kurapika fights a spider, and that's all I'll say for that, he goes into Emperor time, which is sick as hell. Like, that's a great little detail. Emperor time is an install that he can go into when he's fighting anybody, but it's automatically activated if he's fighting a spider, and that's a really great little detail. Then they have other details. Beitan's ultimate. I'm not going to say what it is or why it works the way that it does, but the more damage he has on him, the more damage it does, which is a really good flavor detail that calls to how it works as a attack within like the manga, within the show. And it's like a lot of little details that show somebody there cared. It's just kind of unfortunate that the game had to end up the way that it did. It's hard to, hey, miss me? I did. How's it going? It has been a schminute. You're no longer the top contributor, by the way. Other people have taken the crown. The top contributor thing is so funny when my channel is not monetized. I think I'm technically eligible for monetization now. Do you guys want ads on my stream? Be honest. Put in the comments right now if you would like to see advertisements while I'm streaming. Yes, we love ads. Consume product. Consume. I need to buy the new Honda Accord. It's the only way I can enjoy the stream. Do you have anything going on now for the male GX? Gonna need another Plesia short. Okay, that's awesome. That's exactly what I'm looking for. Now, when we've already made X1, what do we have going on down here? We need more carapaces. Carapaces we can easily get. Carapaces ain't nothing, man. And then we need one more heavy leg. So that's going to be another we have to do a real hunt for. Okay. We can also look at the Plesioth legs. Wow. Still in the pit of date everything, but I wanted to see your pit. Hey, yo. Shit, you're lucky that I'm opening that OnlyFans soon. Stream's not gonna pay for itself. Oh no, fish? I already had to fight him once, man. This shit, it's messed up. It's a messed up world we live in. I did not enjoy him the first time. I'm gonna enjoy him less the second time. And all I need is one shard, and that might even hurt more. What weapon are you using now? Hey, Salted Slices, how about we try something new today? Or are you just gonna use Switch Axe? He's just using Switch Axe again. Motherfucker. Sure, but only if they're the ones that there are multiple individuals in my 5 km vicinity, if you know what I mean. Well, I mean, we can get that arranged. It's about time. I mean, like, how hard could it be to get more Gooner ads, right? All you have to do is say, this AI girl will really love you for who you are, and then Gooners are, like, frothing out the mouth. That's why Grok has to have an anime avatar now. The anime profile picture went so far that Elon Musk even went Grok become anime. That's crazy, man. That's insane gooning reach. He went, how do I make people forget that Grok started praising dictators from the 1940s? Fuck. Grok's an anime woman! And then everyone goes, hey, you know what? Maybe we were judging him too harshly. It's Grok's first time living too. Date Everything has let me make a bunch of gay neurodivergent gooner friends. It's kind of great. Do they all want to have sex with that one light that talks like the most stereotypical gay man I've ever heard? What is it, the lamp? I think it's the lamp. Do they want to fuck that one? Be honest with me. I know a lot of people would like somebody who talks like that. And he's very diva coded too, and I know a lot of people want that. So be honest. If yes, consider them pegged, but not by me. No, okay. There's a post I saw on TikTok earlier. It was somebody talking about, they were like, everybody at my job is, or when they order a bowl from my place, is getting an extra scoop because somebody cracked me last night. And no offense to the guy, but obviously somebody cracked him. He was, if I had to draw a stereotypical homosexual man from memory, it would probably look exactly like this guy. And that's nothing against him, right? However, people in the comments were like, what do you mean you got cracked? And like, I don't know, open your eyes. But absolutely, look, don't stereotype against people, but I mean, have a little bit of a radar for who somebody is. You can somewhat tell. I'm sure you can. I don't have the best radar of all time. And before even reading it, you could just look at him and you knew. It was obvious. And like, good on him. Because there's no false advertising there. You get exactly what it looks like on the tin, as, you know, good for him. My gaydar is really honed to perfection. Like, this one, if we were to do difficulty levels to gaydars, right? This guy would be the introduction, he would be the tutorial. Again, I mean that with no malintent towards him. Because he got railed, so he's doing better than me, right? I couldn't mean it with malintent to him. He's up. But there is no straight character in the game. What, to date everything? Surely there's one. You're trying to tell me that Door, who's covered in tattoos, isn't into women? He looks like he's made for the book talk girlies who need a mafioso boyfriend. I love this big bug you're fighting. When you say Monster Hunter has the most big bugs, no, I think probably Grounded does. If you care about like just fighting big bugs, Grounded is the best one. Now this one's technically a crab, but like what are crabs if not the bugs of the sea? So obviously one is a little bit more acceptable to eat in a seafood broil. When I start bringing tarantulas to the seafood broil, all of a sudden I'm the one ruining the vibes. Okay, well then why'd you invite me knowing I love to eat tarantulas in my seafood broil? Not gonna lie, date everything. I personally don't enjoy watching or playing. I think honestly the older I personally get, and like there's nothing wrong with the game or anything like that, right? But like the less that I care to just play like a dating sim. But that's just me. They've never really appealed. Well, I guess it's not even the older that I get. Because have dating sims ever really appealed to me? I don't think so. And it's just a personal thing. I don't think that I've ever... Granted, I've never really played many, so maybe I'll play Date Everything, and then, like, my chakras will open. But I don't know, it's... I think it's because, like, I can easily get attached to characters in fiction, but I don't think I can get romantically attracted to characters in fiction. That easily, at least. I'm sure, I don't want to say never, because I'm sure there'll be some exception someday, like when AI takes over everything. But I don't see myself as ever being able to get like that attached to a fictional character. What's good, Ludroth? The doors exit the sexy old man key. Oh, never mind. You know, I guess it makes sense that nobody's straight when you look at the art style. I don't mean, again, I don't mean that as an insult, right? It's just like one of those things that you kind of learn as you get older. Like when you look at Tumblr art style, you know their OC isn't straight. It's just obvious. You can smell it a mile away, you know? And it's nothing against it. You can just kind of tell. Video game here, I don't see the appeal except for a certain group of people. Motherfuckers not in a relationship. But that's the weird part. I know a bunch of people in relationships or even married really do enjoy the game. So like clearly my brain's just not wired right because there's a bunch of enjoyment that a lot of people are having. And like I wish I could get too invested in it. But unfortunately, I think for me the cast was almost more what I was invested in than the game itself. Because people would be like, and they got this voice actor. And I'd go, no shot, young Johnny Bosch? No way! He was Yu Narukami in Persona 4. And that's kind of like where my excitement came from. I don't think I was really excited for the character. But I mean, again, that's just me. Well, that's the fun. You can friend zone characters. Yeah, I guess it's just... It's one of those things where until I play it... Like, for example, I thought... Why would I like a game where I race horse girls in a gacha game, man? That's like... created by the devil. It's anime horse girls in a gacha game. I will get no enjoyment out of this. It is so insanely fun to play, and I kind of wish that it wasn't, because it's like very... It feels like a stain on my reputation as a gamer almost, right? Because like... I like a fair bit of gacha slop, but I can call it slop when it's slop. And understand what is objectively a good game versus a bad game, I would say for the most part. And I kind of wish that the Horse Girl game was just, like, objectively horrible, because then it would be very easy to write it off. But it's just, like, not. And that's what sucks. So it could be something like that, where I'm like, I just don't get it, and then I play it, and I'm Danny DeVito at the opera. But I'm definitely going to be waiting for it to go on sale, because I don't have any kind of rush to play it. You know what I mean? And right now, obviously, it's not going to go on sale for any time, because there's a bunch of hype around the game. So I don't... If I was the developers, I wouldn't be putting it on sale either. Woo. That was a low close. Okay, we're chilling, we're chilling. But yeah, that's kind of how I just feel about dating sims in general. I don't think I'm ever going to get into them until I just, like, take the plunge and play one. But I don't know which one I would like. And I guess Date Everything's nice because it casts a very wide net. You are actually so insane for walking around that. Just kidding. Get absolutely trapped. Per my master plan. All right, this is a big demon riot. I'm excited for the other releases this year, specifically Silksong. Is Silksong actually coming out this year, or is it just like the 77th time fell for it again award? You know what I mean? No, guys. Silksong will release. It will release. Putting on the hat. No, I'm not. Guys, we're not falling for it this time. I would love for it to release. It's confirmed. Yeah, didn't Xbox also confirm at one point that, like, all the games you see here will be out this year? And then that was, like, a year and a half ago for Silksong. They see the stop killing games movement and they go, how about we don't release the game? Because then it will always be alive. And you can't kill what you didn't release. Sun Tzu, The Art of War. Listen, man, I'm going off what Nintendo and Xbox said. Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know if this is fair to them. Because obviously game development is insanely hard. And I'm not trying to say, like, just make the game, it's easy, haha. I just kind of wish Team Cherry was a little bit more transparent with what's going on with the game. Because, like, I don't think anybody is upset that it's taking a while to come out, as much as they are the fact that there's radio silence and it's taking a while. I think that's where a lot of frustration with Hollow Knight comes in. Silksong. Is it called? It is Hollow Knight Silksong, right? Like, they still have that as the pretext before it. I thought it was, but it might just be called Silksong. However, I'm assuming that it's Hollow Knight Silksong. Well, maybe it's not, because that might make it sound like it's a DLC, and it's not really a DLC, as far as I know. That would be really funny if they just released it like it was another DLC, like the what was it, the Grimm Troop with Nightmare King Grimm. I don't remember exactly. I wouldn't call it the Phantom Troop, but I think that's just because I'm on my Hunter x Hunter shit. Do not bring up the game again, okay? I don't need to remember it a second time. And it's ass. I don't care anymore. They made an ass game. They had plenty of time. Yeah, no, if the game releases with, like, a lot of bugs or anything like that, I think that's, like, inexcusable. And if it releases and they put it in early access, that would be the biggest. If they release, ooh, if they do an early access release for that game, I'm actually just not gonna buy it. I will likely play it, but I'm not gonna buy it. What could he mean by this? Figure it out. Just because, like, you've had this long, and you've had so many opportunities to finish the game, which, of course, game development's hard. I'm not saying, you should have got everything right on the first try. That's what I would have did, because I'm a genius coder. But Xbox said it would be available day one on Game Pass. That's a bold move. I mean, how much does Xbox pay people for that? That's gotta be so much revenue lost. And for what? For people to play your game day one? I don't know, man. I'm a little bit biased. I hate Xbox so much. I hate Microsoft as a company so much. So, like, I'm very biased. And you might say, why do you hate them if you play Nintendo games? It's a great question, and you could call me hypocritical for it, but, like, Nintendo doesn't cancel games that have been announced and shown development footage nearly as much as Microsoft does. Microsoft pisses me off because they'll show off one of the coolest concepts I've seen for a game and then go, by the way, next year, we actually fired everybody in that studio and laid everybody off who did it. They irk me to no end. And it's all just clearly because they're learning, wait, we make so much more money when we just buy licenses for Game Pass instead and just sell Game Pass at a very good deal. And don't get me wrong, the deal that you get with Game Pass is a good deal, but I think that arguably also makes it worse. Because it's like, damn, they are doing something good while also actively harming a bunch of development companies. Because, like, nobody's telling you have to buy and purchase every single company, Microsoft. If you don't have any plans for the company and don't have future prospects with them, stop buying and laying everybody off, man. You see the Subnautica drama? Yeah, it's really disappointing, man. I mean, it's just the gaming industry it's becoming too much of a business. It's always been a business. I'm not naive enough to say gaming in the past was only done for the love of the game. No, man, it was always a business, right? But, like, damn, the Subnautica one, it really lets people see the ugly side of the business. You know what I mean? The constant corporate backstabbing, corporate lingo to get your way, all of that. You really get to see it all on display for Subnautica. Unless there's more that has come out that I haven't seen. But, like, last I heard is essentially they're doing anything they could to stop the original developers from getting money by pushing back quarters of release so that they couldn't get any of the revenue from the new release, and it's just, like, so messy. I'm not talking the goats of soccer. Nah, nothing more got released. I didn't think so, but I'm not as terminally online as I once was. But I'm as good once as I ever was. All right, let's go finish off this crab. Planked into Eugene. Sorry, they're on a first name basis. It's so disappointing because I was really looking forward to Subnautica. That shit looked peak. Yeah, I mean, that's the sad part, right? Is unless it's on Game Pass, I don't think it's like just kind of, even if it is on Game Pass, it probably means they'd get money if you play it. So like, fuck that too. But I don't know. I mean, honestly, knowing the original developers aren't as involved in the game, it does make me wonder how good it's gonna be. You know, like. It's kind of like, you know, SCPs, how they used to be a little bit more of a niche internet thing. Now that everybody knows what SCPs are, I feel like there's so many horrible SCPs that come out. I'm worried that if a different company is taking care of Subnautica, they just kind of release Leviathans willy-nilly and going, oh, look at this kind of Leviathan. You've never seen this one before, without really caring much about how it affects the ecology of the underwater place that we are currently inhabiting, which I think the original developers did a pretty good job at. Not perfect, because there are a couple Leviathans that didn't make much sense, but still, I think it's like they're gonna do the generic horror slop of like, this one's really big and scary, and like that's it. And you could say they did that a little bit with the normal Leviathans, yeah, but at least they all had like a role in the environment. SCP Salted Slices, he's really bisexual, best horror story. Yeah, but you forget to mention, he casts the widest net and catches nothing. Scientists don't understand. Scientists can't figure out this one little secret. No, I mean, like, it's because I'm your stereotypical gamer. And I say that derogatorily. Dudes will sit in their room for 13 hours out of the day grinding Valorant ranked, not talking to anybody new and flaming their teammates the entire time, and then say, how come I can't get a girlfriend? My brother in Christ, you are the repellent. They should all want an Immortal 1. You know, I'm sure, like, I'm not Immortal 1 yet, but I'm gonna get there soon. They should all want an Immortal 1 insta-lock duelist player who will yell at the bottom fragging on his team saying it's their fault that they're losing, because like clearly this Sage is boosted and couldn't just be having an off game. That doesn't make sense at all. Why can't everybody be perfect like me, mommy's special boy? Anyways, how come I'm single? Like, it's actually psychotic. There's a male loneliness epidemic. Meanwhile, they're in there on their computers flaming people on League of Legends for more time in the day than they are actively trying to better their lives. PTSD from Valorant and League. It's real, it's real. You honestly, like, those bring out the worst in humanity. I think that I've seen people have more mature and nuanced takes about, like, Asmongold and Hassan debates or something like that than I have League of Legends and Valorant games. Holy shit, those ones are pure emotions. It's actually insane that, like, so many guys who play online games will then have the gall to say women are too emotional. My brother in Christ, you are actually crashing out over your Tristana having 2 less CS than the enemy's ADC at 18 minutes into the game. And also, in 4 years from now, you're not going to remember this game. And it is actively causing you distress and duress in your current life. Like, that's insane, man. That's psychotic, to be like, they're too emotional. My motherfucking jungler won't the bot lane! That's, I mean... People crying over League of Legends and dare to say that shit. It's so psychotic. It's crazy to me. I'd be winning this game if my jungle would just help me fucking take an objective. And then they go, yeah, I mean, men are just like designed as leaders. Yeah, bro, yeah, sure. How about you lead your life in a better direction, And the fact that I know that you don't make good choices for yourself, the proof is clearly available to me. You play League of Legends in your free time. That tells me all I needed to know off rip. They're born to be alphas. My fucking Amumu, dude, the crying mummy. What? Oh my god, Curse of the Sad Mummy. He's not even applying his curse stack optimally. Oh my god. My troglodyte of a Ramish knew how to gank a lane. God, I do miss League of Legends. Holy, honestly, if you enjoy online games where you can rage bait people, League of Legends and Dead by Daylight must be the best games of all time. They have to be pure peak to you, because the level of rage people feel in their heart over both of those games is insane. I can tell you now, as somebody who has professionally played 4 games, by professionally I mean in my room, with a friend, who has professionally played 4 games of Dead by Daylight. The fact that people take that game that seriously is insane to me. I know I kind of talked about it a little bit earlier, but like, unironically, my second game on, I got hard tunneled by the killer. The entire game. And afterwards, he was apologizing to me, like, please don't report, I didn't mean to tunnel. It was just, and like, my man, playing hide and seek for adults. I don't mind that you caught me 3 times. That means my hide and seek ability was not very good. That's fine. I've got to get better at playing hide and seek. That's all it means. The idea that you think I would report you over something like that is insane. It's the point of the game, is you're supposed to catch the survivors. I don't care if you did it in a way the community views as taboo, man. The fact that you think that it could have even caused me to tilt is honestly absurd to me. Because, I mean, you're sitting over here playing Springtrap from Five Nights at Freddy's. And I'm supposed to be like, this fucking Springtrap. Like, come on, man. I couldn't have an iota of rage in my heart playing the game. Because it's just a goofy time. No, I'm sure my teammates felt very differently that I died that early. I've noticed a lot of randoms do take the game very seriously, but that's why the rage baiting in that game is so funny. Because it is not the style of game that I could... like, there are games I've crashed out over. Absolutely. I'm not trying to be like, I'm immune to ever feeling rage in games. No. In fact, I crash out quite often. Look at me playing the Bazaar, and after 4 hours of streaming the Bazaar and losing every single run, I'm tilted out of my gourd fighting people, man. Like, I'm queuing up and I was watching the numbers move, all right? I wasn't playing well. I was just watching numbers move. And now, that one is because, like, I think a lot of the frustration when I was playing the Bazaar came internally, because it's like, damn, this is more me versus myself. And I'm losing, which is, like, really hard to self-actualize and come to a rational understanding of, because the idea that the very thing holding me back is myself is a terrifying one. But so like, those are the games I crash out at more. Sometimes I'll crash out if I play Marvel Rivals for too long. If I'm playing Marvel Rivals like 4 or 5 hours, I get pretty snappy with my teammates. But that's when I know, okay, I should be hopping off, because it's not fair to them. It's not fair to them at all. They're just playing a game for fun, you know? And the one who's taking it too seriously is me. But Dead by Daylight? I mean, man, you're playing... I know I said it, but you're playing hide and seek. You're gonna be okay. I promise. In fact, it might even be fun. I don't get mad at games. I just get stressed to the point I have headaches. I used to rage way worse, and I feel like I'm finally starting to, like, reel that shit in. And it feels really good to reel that shit in, because, like, once you have it under control, games become so much more fun, because it is just having fun again. Like how it feels to not give in to the rage bait, and I'm just floating. Okay, we're gonna need the chest still, which will need piercing claws and a bunch more cortexes, because we're gonna be using 4 cortexes here. Yeah. But this isn't bad at all, dare I say it. When we go over here, here's today's list for your perusal. This is not what I want at all. Bro, I remember this one time in Apex like 4 years ago when I thought I was muted. I was complaining about my teammates to myself. Turns out I wasn't muted. See, but that's the kind of like origin story that makes you realize I have to be more kind to people online. I think everybody needs a moment like that because it really does cause you to go, oh shit, I was being an asshole for no reason. Let me redial this in because this is a real person on the other side. If you want to rage bait, that's completely different. Have you noticed that there's a lot of people who try to rage bait and end up rage baiting themselves? Like, how weak must one's mental be to try and say something inflammatory to get a reaction out of somebody else, not get the reaction you want, and then you start crashing out? That's insane, man. Like, you brought this upon yourself, unfortunately. I wish it was not the case, but it is. You're the reason this happened. If you're gonna blame anyone, when you point a finger, I mean, you're not gonna believe where the other ones are pointing. Okay, so now, real quick, let's check where our status is. That's kind of rage bait is when you're the one not responding. Yes, when someone tries to rage bait you and you just, like, don't respond, dude. Oh, they don't know what to do. They aren't trained for that kind of... You outplayed them, unfortunately, in a way that, like, they're left clueless. Chain, crit, and handicraft we almost have, man. I just need 2 more points on both, and my critical eye is so low. Manage equipment, set decorations, remove... Oh, there's none on there. Hold, there it is. Remove. There's none on there. There's none on there. Damn, I didn't really use many. What do we have on this one? Nothing. Okay. But we do have slots here. So we can put on an expert jewel there. We can put on an expert jewel there. And we can put on an expert jewel there. All right. All right. Next time your friends are talking about something political, just butt in and say, nah, I don't think so, and ignore everything else they say. Oh, it's so fun, man. Or hitting them with like a... I remember when I thought that. Don't ever elaborate, man. Or this one is an ult, though. You can't... if you spam this one, they're going to start realizing, and they'll be like, hey, fuck this guy. What you have to hit them with is... I remember when I got that opinion off Reddit. Oh, man. That's too good. Like, if you... I can't be held responsible for what they think if you say that one to them. Because they will hate you. Or just even common Redditor opinion. You'll feel power. You will feel power. I guarantee it. Incrit +2 in Deadeye. I don't really care, though. Regrettably. But now we look at our stats. Critical Eye is back up to +2. And Repeat Offender is here. Hey, wait, we have Repeat Offender in this game, dude? Dude, that's what they got my dad with. Wait, that's huge. That's really the ult you pull off after a full conversation of rage bait? Yeah. Or like, that's what, honestly, if you really want to see them lose it, that's what you do. You prolong the conversation as long as possible, and then near the end have like an epiphany look and go, oh, I understand. You get your opinion off Reddit. Oh, man. Because the worst part is, there's a good chance they saw it on a social media for like whatever their position is. So now they'll feel called out in that sense. But then the idea that you're insinuating they're a Redditor, that hurts way more than anything else could. Like, not even Redditors want to be known as Redditors. They want to stay away from it. And I understand why completely. There's a connotation with it. It's like a modern day slur. Is the R word more harmful than the F word? Now, why'd I pick the F word? Well, because that one applies to me. I was going to say the N word, and then people were going to be like, hey, you can't say that. And, like, I can't. They're right. Absolutely. My skin works as a reflector. So, there's no debate over whether or not, like, the only debate that could happen is he possibly the lightest skinned man alive? And then they'll look at me and go, nope. No, not at all, actually. So all we're missing now is Plesios Shard, 7 Piercing Claws, and a Centaur Cortex. Centaur Cortex. Okay. That's not going to be hard, and then we can get our full gray fit, which does go kind of insane. It will not change our expert level at all. So we've got to figure out what we can do for more expert. But Repeat Offender does not seem to level up. Yeah, you either get it or you don't. Same with Handicraft. Handicraft you can increase further. So what we're looking for is a Handicraft plus Critical Eye roll on a charm. Me and the rest of the population, though. Speaking of rage bait, did you see the Corey X Kenshin thing? Saw it randomly on YouTube. Apparently, literally everything is faked except a really bad SA joke he made 9 years ago to his girlfriend. I didn't see any of the drama. Well, so, okay. I saw one post related to it. But it was just like how it feels to find out the allegations were false. And like, it might have been the most r/I have Reddit thing I could have ever seen, because it was like the guy breaking the chains and everything, and I'm like, no, like the allegations. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, it's rough, because I understand the whole believe all victims, right? I'm gonna stop before I dig a hole that's impossible for me to dig out of, actually. Masterful gambit, sir. I'm gonna get on out of here before I'm walking in a minefield, and I'm gonna simply elect to turn around and go the other way. I know what you were about to say. Look. Yeah, I guess also for Corey X Kenshin. Well, let me check. Maybe he does. Shit was dodgy. I don't blame you. Let me check. Let me check. One thing real quick. Okay. Videos. Oh, he did upload 3 weeks ago. What the hell? Wait, why does everybody say Corey never uploads? Okay, well, you know, well, it's not the most... I mean, it's kind of looking like my upload schedule. Okay, you know what? Fine. Fair. Fair. Xbox messages? Oh, wait. The allegations all came from Xbox messages? That's insane. Sorry, I was just going to say that, like, what were people going to say? I'm not going to support him anymore. Hasn't he not uploaded for a year? Turns out he uploads more often than I thought. I thought he just, like, never uploaded. Xbox and Discord? I mean, like, it's so easy to fake them, but it's also so easy for them to be real, because a lot of people are horrible people. Like, did you guys ever see... I was going to say I urge you to read it. I actually urge you to stay as far away as possible and live a life that is filled with joy, whimsy, and things that make you feel good about yourself. However, did you guys see when Pirate Software had all those messages of him, like, sexting with a 20-year-old while he was 32 and married? Allegedly. Thank God I threw that one in there. I could feel the legal repercussions dissolving. Sorry, I need some water. But, dude, those ones were so obviously, to me, real. Now, Pirate Software has denied them, so maybe they are fake. It is entirely possible. However, when trying to emotionally manipulate a 20-year-old, whoever it was in these chat logs, from the chat logs originally leaked in like 2018 or 2020, so before any of this huge drama came on, the person in the chat logs said, "Hope it was worth it." Come on, man. That's his catchphrase. I'm supposed to believe that's not you when this guy's breaking out, "Hope it was worth it," when something doesn't go his way? I mean, come on. Now, with that said, I wouldn't wish it upon anybody to go through the logs and form their own opinions, because it is two gay furries role-playing. Which, like, ERP is already cringe, right? And I'm not even, if you enjoy ERPing, I'm not even saying like, you shouldn't enjoy it because it's cringe. I'm saying it is objectively cringe to read the sexual relations between two other people that you are not involved in, who are attempting to make the other party feel good while just texting each other. That is objectively one of the cringiest things that you can read. You're essentially putting yourself in a cuck chair while reading it, because like these are two people trying to make each other feel good over text, and you're just kind of sitting there like, allow me to. Now, I haven't actually read it myself. I just saw like a video talking about it, but when I saw the hope it was worth it, I was like, okay. I feel like we're ignoring the fact he did this while he had a wife. Yeah, well, also like the weird part about it, allegedly, all of this is alleged because it could be fake chat logs, was the person who was pretending to be Pirate Software or was Pirate Software themselves tried to like guilt trip the 20-year-old university student into not ever ERPing with anybody other than him when he was married. That's crazy to me. The emotional maturity of a box of tissues, man. Even if you faked it, I still hate Pirate Software. I have never, look. Have you ever seen that post that was like when Elon Musk talked about electric cars? I knew nothing about electric cars, and everyone said he was smart, so I assumed that he was. When he talked about, and then like it's going through all of the other stuff, and then like once he started talking about something I knew about is how I knew he was not that smart, right? And just surrounded himself with smart people, which I think is very true for Elon. I think he does surround himself with smart people. I don't know if he's actually not smart himself. I've never fucking met the guy, right? But I think a lot of the decisions he makes are made by smart people around him who advise him on what to do, which is smart. So like at the very least, he has the semblance to understand that. Which is something that I don't think a lot of people have the intelligence for, which is to say, I'm not smart enough for this, let me get somebody else. The reason I bring up this story / anecdote is because when Pirate Software would talk about his code and Steam DRM, I don't consider myself a game developer. I have developed 4 or 5 Flash games, all of which were for, well, I guess not technically Flash games because they weren't made in Flash, so it's not really like a fair nomenclature, but they're browser games that you can play on itch.io, right? I've made them all for game jams, and each and every one of them didn't really perform well in the game jam because I'm not great at making games, right? But I know my way around. I'm able to do some stuff when it comes to making games. When I would hear him describe Steam DRM and also show the way he did his code, I was like, some of this is the way I would do stuff, and I know I'm not doing it right. Like, I have the intelligence to look up on Stack Overflow, hey, I feel like I'm setting up this array incorrectly for all of my dialogue. What gives? And then people would be like, just so you know, I would not recommend doing every single piece of dialogue in a singular array that you're going to load everywhere. Instead, try to segment it by this, this, and this, and then your different languages, you should also not all load at once because of the fact that it's going to be a harder load on the recipient who's playing. Just give it in the menu so that it can load up a different one the one time that they're swapping to it in the menu, and then base it upon either rooms or instances where you know this dialogue is going to pop up rather than one insane array that has to get loaded every time. And I'd go, oh, that makes a lot of sense. And then they go, plus this gives the benefit of if you ever need to adjust dialogue, you don't have to worry about which array position you're adjusting for, or like if it's out of order now because you were like, I need this in the tutorial later after you already developed something at a different point. So now your tutorial dialogue is online or is data point number 130 in an array when it should be in like its intro 10 pieces of the array, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? So I'd be like, oh, I understand. Let me change this and change to best practice. I think Pirate Software just kind of goes, ooh, this works, and then does it. Which is, look, if you're doing game development as a hobby, that's great. If you find something that works, do it. But if you're going to give other people advice, I do kind of feel like there's a burden of making sure the advice you're giving them is not sabotaging them. I don't think that he ever did that. No, I'm not saying all of his advice is useless, right? I haven't seen all of it short, so it wouldn't be genuine of me to say all of his advice is useless. But that's just kind of the vibe that I never really liked from him, was I was like, I don't like that you present yourself as an authority on this when I feel as though you're not too much more qualified than the average person. You know, and obviously there's the built-in defense of he's saying, well, this is the way that I'm doing it. It doesn't mean it is best practice. I'm just giving my advice, which is true. But a lot of his shorts, he also talks about how much game dev experience he has, which then kind of leads people on to believe that, oh, if he has this experience, therefore this is good. So that's just kind of where I've never... Also, he makes his voice deeper using, like, fake filters, which is fucked up because, like, I've got a nasally voice, I think. I mean, maybe I don't. Maybe it's all in my head, and I've always just thought I have a nasally voice, but I feel like I have a very nasally voice. Just embrace it, man. You're born with it. It's not your fault. If you've got a nasally voice, you've got a nasally voice. I also denied an interview from a good coder on his game code. Well, yeah, I mean, look. If I was in his position, I would too. Because the audience you have has fooled themselves into thinking you are very good at what you're doing, right? So the idea that you would have somebody on who says, hey, you're actually very bad at this part, and this part. I mean, obviously, he would probably say it in a far nicer way, saying, just so you know, this isn't best practice, this isn't best practice, you should probably be doing this instead, blah, 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 blah. But that kind of, it like conflicts and clashes with the view he's been trying to present to people. Which is something that, like I was saying, losing to yourself, right? Like, it's an example of that. It's very hard to come to terms with that, and it's like a very mature thing to have to be able to do. And I don't think everybody's equipped to do it. I don't think I'm equipped to do it, so, like, I don't blame him for that aspect of it. It can be hard, but it's also hard to admit when you're wrong. That's a skill that I think everybody should learn. And I'll say I'm wrong if I'm wrong. I've got no problem being wrong, because I know right after I'm done being wrong, somebody else is about to be wrong 10 times in a row. It's not like I've got a monopoly on the wrongness. I can be wrong every now and then. I don't mind saying if I am, because, again, that's how you learn and grow. If I was never wrong about anything, then I'd be better software. No, but I do think it is one of the most basic human skills we have, though, right? He's a grower. I am a grower, though. Like, that one I'm not wrong about. That one I know is true. I do still think that being a grower is optimal in 95% of situations. Because I think just being a shower seems... I don't know. It's just like... What are you doing with all that when you're chilling at Chili's, you know? You're going over to Applebee's for an appetizer, right? And now you got all that between your legs. I don't think that that's what I need. Crazy cope? No, I don't think it's... So here's why I don't think it's cope. If my shit didn't grow much, and I said I was a grower, that's cope, right? Like, if you have a grower size by default, but you're a shower, that's the worst combo of all time. And I feel for you. Like, that's horrible. You've somehow specced out of both skill trees. I know it probably happens to somebody out there because the human body's a crazy thing. But, like, that's fun. That's horrible. I think that if you start small, it almost kind of, like, tempers the expectations where someone's like, ah, damn, there's not going to be anything here. And then ripples in size. That's kind of sick. That's like a magic trick, in the words of Randy Pitchford. But I think that, like, if you're a shower, they see it and they go, oh, fuck yeah. And then if it doesn't grow much, that kind of sucks. Now, I'm not saying it's bad, because, like, if you're just showing some huge shit, they're not going to care that it doesn't grow much, right? But if you're, like, a shower, and your shower is 4.5 inches, look, 4.5 inches is not, like, insanely tiny. If it would, you know, get a little bit larger afterwards. I actually don't know what the average size is, I guess. So maybe, I don't know. I know that I'm over that shit easy, though. I could, like, on real shit, I'm over that easy. Not soft. 2 inches is too big. Actually, wait, now we're kind of on to something. Yeah, but, like, soft, I'm under that. I won't lie. I'll tell it as it is. Honestly, I feel like I might, maybe it is just cope that I need. Cock reveal. All right, guys. The first person to subscribe to my Twitch channel gets a cock reveal. The joke here is he's never going affiliate. By the way, do not clip that. That's not legally binding. I do kind of wonder though, like, can we create a club for guys? And it's not like, you're gonna say they already have that, it's called a gay club. That's not true, because then the winner also probably has to fuck someone. Can we make a club for guys where we all just consensually show off our cocks? Because like the internet kind of, it disorients your brain to thinking that like this is normal, you know? You'll see somebody with 11.6 inches and think to yourself, damn, I must be lacking. That's not the normal man. But also, the cocks that we're showing off all have to be hard. So I don't know how we're gonna do this platonically. That's gonna be up to the bar to find out, not to me, you know? But I feel like it would be healthy just to have like normal dudes showing off. Because like anybody who posts online, they're obviously gonna have some kind of, they're gonna have a bias to it, because you don't post dick online unless you're like, my shit goes crazy, you know? Or you go, it goes crazy small. Regular ass dudes don't just post their dick, except for in girls' inboxes without consent, which sucks, because like I want to see it platonically to kind of compare to see where I'm at, you know what I mean? It's like looking up hours to beat. Also, that's just a college frat. Yeah, but I didn't go to college. You're telling me I missed out? I mean, like, me and my friends have looked at each other's dicks, obviously. That's just like a sign of friendship. Right? And before anybody goes, huh? You gotta understand, right? Like, it's normal, from what I've been told, for women to be like, oh wow, these are coming in so nice when talking about breasts or something like that, right? Like, or feel them or something like that as friends. And it's not like a sexual thing. I mean, it must be hell to be the one lesbian woman in a straight girlfriend group if you're not out, right? Like, that's gotta be, it's like suffering from success. But, so because of that, me and my boys were like, well then why don't we see what we got going on? But the issue was none of us were hard. So like, we were all pretty similar. But we were all like, trust me, it grows. And we just had to take each other's word for it. Yo, feel my shit gang? Well, that's like the issue, right? It was platonic, so there was like no attraction. So neither of us, well, there were 4 people involved, so neither is a crazy word to use. Neither of us were feeling that shit. I'm gonna stick with it. No, none of us were feeling that shit, because like, it was a platonic, how's that cock hanging, bro? And the answer was, we were hanging pretty similar. We don't know who would win because we didn't get it hard, which is messed up from us. I should call them for a rematch. Especially because now I've lost weight. It's kind of a hidden OP power. I didn't realize how much I'd get back by losing weight. Turns out it was there, but like, just buried. Yeah, I don't know if I could do that with my homeboys. See, that's the thing. I don't think we could now. I think it was a very special time because like we were just about 18 at the time. You know what I mean? I feel like it's weird to do mid-20s or later, but if you're a teenager or early 20s, that's like just guys being dudes. You know what I mean? Maybe it's just me. Were you drunk? No, we were just talking about our shit. We were just talking about cock size, and we were talking about like what we think the average is for different areas. And then we're like, well, hold on. What's our averages? So we checked real quick. That's called being a scientist, right? Like, you can't say that's weird. Sorry, we're doing scientifical stuff. So fully sober, you guys said, yo, guys, crazy idea. Well, like, there was a whole subtext to it. I don't really remember everything that led up to the cock reveal. I just remember, like, revealing it with the boys. Dude, it would have been so funny if we did, like, a countdown. 3, 2, 1. Yours is tiny. Dude, holy, could you imagine the betrayal? If we had, like, 3 of us were in on it, and we all got one dude to just, like, reveal his cock size, and we pointed and laughed. Oh my, the betrayal would have been insane. Like, that would have been a villain origin story, man. I wouldn't blame him if he went through a life of crime right after that. Holy, that would have been so funny. And, like, everybody has a friend group like this, I'm sure. Where you can already, or at least I can already picture which one we would have done that to if we were doing it. And it's not me, by the way, as far as I know. Damn, it'd be fucked up if to them they were like, it's salted slices. Absolutely, it's salted slices. Does this guy fucking mind? Clearly. Royal Ludroth, how about you fucking chill out, man? We're chilling. Yeah, we're chilling, we're chilling. But you know, like, it was 6 years ago? Yeah, it was at least 6 years ago. So I don't really remember it that well now. Pearl Plus, exactly what I'm looking for. Crabs and Pearl did go together. I remember that. Father and daughter. Sorry, I'm a big SpongeBob lore guy. I know that's a little bit of niche knowledge, but... What do you bring to the table? I just gotta bring like a knowledge of SpongeBob lore that not many people can match. Oh, dude, it's hard to get back to yapping for this long. I think that I need to start drinking more water as a person. Because the roof of my mouth is good. Well, it might not be because I wasn't drinking water. It's entirely possible that it's just because, like, something about my mouth gets fucked up during pollen season, man. I don't know what it is. I get so many canker sores that I break out into, and people are like, it's acidity imbalance. What, you think drinking 17 zero sugar Rockstar energy drinks could possibly have a negative effect on my mouth? I don't believe you. I'd like to see some evidence of that one, man. All right, let's see what we got. Let's see what we got. If all we need now is the Plesios shards, I'll leave that for next stream, I think. Punish myself in the future. All we are missing is the Plesios shards and piercing claws. Now, you might say, oh, technically you're missing. The piercing claws just come from like little monsters that I have to carve them from. So we'll get those eventually. They can be acquired at any point in time. I don't need to worry about those at all. I think I'm happy ending stream here for today. Tomorrow we might play Uma Musume. I know Kita-san Black drops, and I'm sure that if you don't play the game, those are just words to you, but I promise that is what's happening. So, I'm very excited to summon for her. I need a new support card desperately, especially to start maxing out all my SR support cards that aren't that limit broken yet. So, yeah, no, thank you guys so much for coming out. I hope you had a great time watching. I happen to have a great time streaming. I will see you tomorrow. Not sure what for, but I know Thursday will be Munter again. Why? All right, I'll see you guys then. Peace.